All right, greetings and salutations, everyone. My name is Andrew Kirchhoff, and welcome to our live stream here, post Thursday night football live stream. Kind of giving you guys a little bit of a rundown as to what we just witnessed, and of course, answering questions for Week 4. Over the course of the next hour and a half, 2 hours, I'll be trying to help you guys out as much as I possibly can in terms of you guys asking questions in the chat. I'll be addressing those, giving you guys my overall best opinion in order to help you out as best as I possibly can. We'll be participating in a couple underdog drafts a little bit later. For those of you who are trying to participate with me, alongside of me, and competing against each other, you can go ahead and check out the link down in the description. Use promo code Andrew today to make a first-time deposit and get a first-time deposit match up to $100. Alrighty, so first and foremost, okay, thoughts and prayers to Tua and his family. Let's hope everything is good to go. Obviously, that was a scary situation. Like, legitimately, I'm sitting on the couch and I'm freaking out. That was not something that we want to see on a weekly basis. All fantasy football aside, that was, rough. But nonetheless, we're hoping he's doing well, hoping that everything kind of goes in the right direction. Outside of that, let's talk about what we saw just moments ago on Thursday Night Football. Number 1, let's talk about the quarterback play on the other side. Joe Burrow, luckily was able to get that second touchdown late in that game. Was able to have himself a pretty good game because of that. Outside of that, nothing much. Following up, let's talk about Joe Mixon. The dude should have had 3 rushing touchdowns in this game. If that offensive line wasn't just so bad, he should have had 3 rushing touchdowns in this game. He played so much more than I actually anticipated, because thinking coming off the ankle injury from Sunday, he could probably be limited to some sort of capacity. I knew he was going to play. That's for certain. We're all starting Mixon. That's not even a question in mind. But the dude had a lot of opportunity on the ground through the air and then should have had himself 3 rushing touchdowns. That offensive line was getting beat up. But we know that the Miami Dolphins run stop defense, like we've talked about in terms of matchups, are really good at stopping the run. It's okay. Either way, he comes out with I think it was a 15, 16 point fantasy week. We'll take that. But we were expecting to very easily see 27 fantasy points today. That should have been in all of our, overall rosters based on what kind of opportunity he was given on the goal line. Moving on. T. Higgins, he's the thumbnail for a reason, right? At this current moment in time, we're sitting here thinking Jamar Chase is the number 1. It's beginning to be that much more clear that T. Higgins is just, he's that guy. He's putting up an incredible amount of points. For those of you who sent in donations, I will get to that in a minute. Jamar Chase was getting bracketed the entire time. He had some guy sitting over the top, some guy sitting underneath on every single route that he ran for majority of the game. In the opportunities that he was given where it was one-on-one coverage, obviously he played well, and he made some plays. But T. Higgins, unbelievable. We talked about it earlier today in the video that I posted. T. Higgins has had 70 or more receiving yards now in 12 out of the last 16 games that he has played for the Cincinnati Bengals, including the NFL playoffs of last year. The dude just gets it done, finds himself open consistently, and considering there is, Joe Mixon to deal with and Jamar Chase on the other side of the field pulling so much coverage, the dude has himself another incredible week here. Love to see it. Hayden Hurst scoring a touchdown, awesome. Didn't expect it, but we'll take it. Anytime we can get another tight end relevant in the conversation of being a weekly potential starter, love to see it. Outside of that pretty much covers it for that offense. Tyler Boyd could have scored a touchdown if it wasn't for Joe Burrow throwing it behind him. Moving on to the other team, Teddy Bridgewater in 2 quarterback leagues, I guess, could be relevant for upcoming weeks. If you are playing in a Superflex 12-team league, could definitely be relevant. Chase Edmonds, I talked about him earlier today in a video in terms of you should try to sell Chase Edmonds earlier today if you guys were able to catch that video, mainly because of what I anticipated and what I talked about. Yes, he did score a touchdown today, but in terms of touches, it is Raheem Mostert's backfield. And, Chase Edmonds could have even had 2 touchdowns in this game if it wasn't for his slippery hands. But nonetheless, he's still a guy that I'm looking to potentially move off and away from. Jalen Waddle, he was probably, I'm going to have to go watch it back at a different angle. I have the NFL Plus app, so I usually watch back every single game at a broader angle, sometimes the end zone cam, sometimes the sideline cam from up top. I'm assuming that Mike Hinton was probably on him the entire time. That's why he wasn't able to do anything. On the other end, of course, Tyreek Hill, monster game. We'd love to see that. Huge playmaker there. Raheem Mostert looked fantastic in terms of running those lanes. Outside of that, that pretty much covers the fantasy kind of perspective. Both kickers, at least Evan McPherson is a monster. On the other end, we had Sanders missing a couple kicks here and there. Okay. Outside of that, a game that we were anticipating to be like a 33-30 kind of game at the end of it ended up being something far less, unfortunately. Again, thoughts and prayers up to Tua, and hopefully he's going to be healthy. He's going to fly back with the team later today, and we'll see where this entire extravaganza of an absolute mess transpires and kind of leads us into going forward. Okay. I want to thank you guys for joining me. I know I typically don't live stream throughout the week. I want to try to make this more of a commonality as we progress throughout the season. Again, it's hard for me to be able to, do all these streams and put out content as a one-man show. So I try to balance my schedule as much as I possibly can without burning myself out. So at this point, glad to be here with you guys. I'm glad you guys can make it, and hopefully we'll be answering some questions here and getting through all this. A couple donations were sent in. Do want to address those really quickly, and then we'll get into the chat, see what you guys think. Have any questions regarding anything fantasy related. Okay, so let's go ahead. Let's move this over here. See what this says. Justin has sent in a donation, said, Mixon on those goal line carries. Yes, I was literally, one of these days I'm going to have to stream myself watching the games. I get quite passionate when players like Joe Mixon, even if they're not on my team, aren't able to just take that one step forward and score a touchdown. I purely blame it on the fact that the offensive play calling of the Cincinnati Bengals down on the goal line is horrendous. Why are we not sitting in the gun, spreading out the defense a little bit, at least threatening them with more than just, hey, we got, 13 personnel, 1 back, 3 tight ends, bring in an extra offensive lineman. Obviously, everyone knows you're running the ball. Obviously. But either way, they're going to have to work on that. Hopefully, he'll get more opportunities going forward. Morph said, traded Kupp, Pierce, Edmonds for Sutton and Brees. What do you think? I'm not a fan of that trade in any regard. I would very easily say, in my opinion, that Kupp is probably worth more than Sutton and Brees as of this current moment in time. So that in itself, Kupp for Brees and Sutton, I'd rather have the Kupp side. And then you also gave away Pierce, and you also gave away Edmonds. Pierce is coming off of a huge week here. He's not really a sell-high candidate. He's seeing a lot of touches, and he's playing really well for that Houston Texans offense, who honestly is going to continue to give him the ball all season long. So I'm not too big of a fan of that overall trade there, Morph. Hopefully, it pans out for you. Sutton and Brees take steps forward, but yeah, I'm not too much of a fan of that one. JP sent in a donation. Thank you, JP. I appreciate it. It says 12-team league, half PPR scoring format. This is my team. Any trade advice? Okay, let's go ahead and let's see your team here. So we have Lamar. We're keeping him. Jonathan Taylor, we're keeping that. Javonte, we keep that. Pollard is fine. Christian Kirk, Gabe Davis, Juju Smith-Schuster, Jerry Jeudy, Mark Andrews. So true, Deebo Samuel, AJ Brown, Treylon Burks. Okay, that's who you want to trade for. I mean, at this current moment, if you're able to make a move where you can sell Christian Kirk and go get one of those, an AJ Brown theoretically, then yeah, well let's try to go do it. Otherwise, I don't want to move Lamar, JT, or Andrews off your team. Everybody else is available to move and try to go acquire players like you mentioned, but keep those primary 3 as guys that are going to be the pillars of your roster, because you got to remember, if Lamar continues to just in any capacity look like the way he has in the last 2 weeks going forward, these are better numbers than his 2019 MVP campaign. He could very easily, off this pace, be the highest scoring quarterback of all time in fantasy football history, if he just is able to string together more performances like this and stay healthy. So we want to keep those guys. Those guys could definitely be league winners at this moment. Let me go ahead and see. So yeah, that's my suggestion there. Shair sent in a donation a little bit earlier. Shair, I don't know if there wasn't a message attached to it. I'm going to see if you have anything in this chat here. Shair, no, there wasn't. I spelled that wrong. Shair. Okay, Shair says, Aaron Jones or Austin Eckler rest the season in a PPR scoring format. I'm worried about Eckler considering the Chargers' run blocking this year in comparison to the Green Bay Packers. You know what? What is this? Okay, I'm going to check that out in a second. You're not wrong. I do agree that Austin Eckler is at a little bit of a disadvantage in comparison, especially considering the offensive line for the Chargers is deteriorating, while the Green Bay Packers are finally getting their guys back. They're starting right tackle. They're starting left tackle. They're beginning to get back into the mix. I'm trying to think, is Austin Eckler not as valuable rest of season? I have a hard time saying that that's the case. I'd honestly still rather have Austin Eckler. I think the threat of A.J. Dillon being back there does impact my opinion a little bit there in terms of I'm worried that A.J. Dillon at any moment in time could very easily impact the overall upside of Aaron Jones. So I'm still leaning towards Austin Eckler. It's close. That's why I have to think about it, especially in a full PPR. But the fact that Austin Eckler is still able to get himself a good amount of touches in terms of receptions, that is the biggest difference maker. He can end a week with 8 catches and 47 yards and a touchdown, and we'll be fine. He doesn't even have to run the ball for the entire year. As long as he's getting implementation in the receiving game, that's all that really matters. Thank you for your question. I appreciate it. Let me go ahead and let's close that. Boom. Let's move back down to the bottom of the list. We're going to get to your guys' questions in just a moment. Woods has sent in a donation. I appreciate that, Woods. He said, I traded Chubb for Mixon. I don't know how I feel. It depends. If you're playing in a full PPR scoring format, I suppose you can justify that based on the receiving work that we saw. And that's a really good thing that we saw. As long as Mixon continues to get this utilization in terms of receptions, by all means, I've got no problem with it. They've just got to get better in terms of play calling, and we'll be fine. Again, Mixon should have had 3 touchdowns today. We all know that. We all witnessed that. Hopefully, in future weeks, they'll be able to tack those on to his overall scoreline. Morph says, what does it say? Evans to... Oh, okay. So you got Evans as well. Okay. You said Evans. I'm assuming that was kind of a autocorrect from wherever you're sending it. You also got Evans, Sutton, and Brees. Okay. I suppose if that's the trade, I'm far more inclined to say, yeah, that's an even trade and you're fine. The prior trade that you had mentioned, Morph, was not looking good for you. So yeah, as long as you got Evans, Sutton, and Brees, you're good to go. Let's see here. Era says, Justin Jefferson for Mark Andrews and Michael Carter. I have Pittman, Sutton, Hollywood, and Christian Kirk. If you are desperately in need of a tight end, I guess you could, but I don't think it's worth it. I think the value which Justin Jefferson is going to present in terms of his overall spectrum of fantasy points by the end of the year will significantly outpour what Mark Andrews is going to present to you, to where you may be trading down a little bit too much here. There's a reason why Justin Jefferson went as high as he did during our draft. It's because the expectation of fantasy points and the ceiling of fantasy points that he's capable of reaching, due to the fact that he is Justin Jefferson and we've seen him, year over year improve pretty significant amounts. I know it may not look like he's going to have, a breakout season based on the last 2 weeks, but just bear with it. I think you want to keep Justin Jefferson going forward there, Era. Matt K says, I'm in a 12-team league, half PPR. What moves do I need to make? Let's hear. You have Justin Herbert, you have Tua, you have James Conner, Christian McCaffrey, you have Tony Pollard, Keenan Allen, Hollywood Brown, Bateman, A-Rob. Okay. Everett and Tunyon are your tight ends. Okay, so if I'm looking at your team immediately, you need to go pick up D'Onta Foreman or Chuba Hubbard. If I'm picking one out of the two, I truly don't know. It's more of a 50-50. I'm assuming they're going to give D'Onta Foreman that first look. But you need to go and you need to ensure that you have Christian McCaffrey's handcuff on roster. So that's first and foremost. Second, I think the next play you probably need to make is to you need to probably start selling some of these wide receivers and try to get an upgrade here, because Bateman, A-Rob, they're very much so touchdown dependent. If you're not able to at least tack those on, especially in a half PPR league, you could be in a little bit of trouble. So you might want to try to bundle some of these guys up, make a move there, but certainly try to go get Christian McCaffrey's backups. For those of you guys who maybe don't even have Christian McCaffrey on roster, you need to go ahead and give that some sort of consideration. If you've got an empty roster spot and D'Onta Foreman or Chuba Hubbard are available, we know that Christian McCaffrey's missed the last 2 practices. This could be something that, this could be nothing that turns into something. And I just want to be safe in that regard, right? All right, moving on. Nala sending a donation. Thank you very much. Says, thoughts on Zeke and Higgins for Devontae and Montgomery. Zeke and Higgins for Devontae Adams and David Montgomery. Worth the risk on Montgomery's injury? No. Listen, when I was watching back the Bears game this past week, in terms of just the only reason I purely watched it back was to watch Dameon Pierce. But I was like, let's go see, how Khalil Herbert looked. Let's see what kind of runs he made, whether or not, it was a matter of scheme or whether the defense was just awful. And the injury that Montgomery sustained looks pretty bad. I don't think I'm trading for Montgomery at this moment. So at this point, I'd stick with what you have there. Thank you. Ulysses Ventura says, would it be okay if I can send you a link to a PDF on Twitter post so you can get a better look at my lineup? Yeah, Ulysses, if you want to go ahead and DM me on Twitter, you could absolutely do that. I'll keep my phone ready here. As long as your name on Twitter is the same as what it is on YouTube, I can immediately see it and check out your roster. So yeah, go for it, Ulysses. Grady Hoffman says, where do you rank T. Higgins rest of the season? I mean, I had him in my top 12 at the beginning of the season. I think he only creeps forward. Now, in terms of where he ends up, he's probably in that top 10 conversation. But again, if you guys remember preseason, he was in that conversation already. It's not like it's any different. We anticipated this. We just didn't, expect him to miss half of week 1. We didn't expect him to disappear in the second half of week 3. Otherwise, the guy would very easily be a top 5 wide receiver right now in fantasy in terms of total fantasy points scored. Pretty appreciate that, Grady. Thank you. Colin Smith said, start 2 full PPR. Christian Kirk, Devonta Smith, Kareem Hunt, Breece Hall. If I'm starting 2 out of those 4 potential options, I'm starting Christian Kirk and Devonta Smith this week, Colin. I appreciate it. Thank you. Again, don't forget, Sunday morning we will be live streaming. Saturday we'll be live streaming. So as the week progresses, we'll get more of an understanding as to what the weather concerns are, on top of the fact that what kind of injuries we're dealing with other, fantasy prospects, and how that's going to impact our players, not only offensive players, but also defensive guys that could end up being, absent for this upcoming weekend's contest that could give our players more value in that regard. Justin has sent in a donation. Thank you, Justin. I appreciate it. It says, about to trade Davis and Aaron Jones for Justin Jefferson too much. Gabriel Davis and Aaron Jones for Justin Jefferson. I honestly, I'd say it depends on what that roster looks like. If you've got enough wide receiver depth and running back depth that you can go ahead and get away with that, I'm at the point where I'm considering that as an option that I wouldn't mind running with. Again, depending on what my team looks like. If it's an 8-team league, 10-team league, and I have enough depth to be able to mitigate some of the pieces that I'm kind of giving away, if I have enough running back talent to suffice going forward for the rest of the season, with bye weeks coming up, injuries potentially taking place, yeah, then I don't mind that. Reverse SF says, drop Brady or Stafford for Trevor Lawrence, or neither and keep both. Best quarterbacks on the market right now are Goff, Carr, and Lawrence. This week, I like Goff against the Seattle Seahawks. I'll let you know that first and foremost. Out of all the quarterbacks you mentioned, if Evans is back and maybe Godwin returns this week, we could have a conversation of starting Brady. But at this moment, I don't think I'm dropping Stafford or Brady for T-Law. I think there's a potential where T-Law could be great this year, but I don't know if he's going to catch up to those guys in my mind. Okay. Thank you guys for sending out those donations. I appreciate you guys supporting the channel in that regard. Again, you don't have to send in donations. I'm going to go ahead and sit in this chat and answer as many chat questions as I possibly can for the next hour plus, just to kind of give you guys as much help as I possibly can. So for those of you who have patiently waited and have asked questions, I'm going to try to do my very best to get to those. Again, do not feel obligated to, donate. The channel's here just to try to give as much free advice as I possibly can. And in order to kind of help you guys to the best of my ability. Again, if you want to, spend your money, you can go ahead. You can sign up via Underdog. You can play your own, pick 'em slips. You can, participate in their drafts. Do what you guys would like. But I do appreciate you guys coming out here today, clicking the like button and supporting with your viewership. So thank you again in advance. Ulysses, did you send me anything? Yeah, you did. Okay, Ulysses, let me check this out and then I'll get into the chat. All right, Ulysses, let's see here, my guy. Where are we at here? All right, so Ulysses, what do we have in terms of your roster? What the heck is this team you got here? So you have Josh Allen. I'm looking down because I'm literally looking at his team just for context. Here you go, guys. This is Ulysses' team. It's a little bit blurry, but he's got Josh Allen, Najee Harris, Josh Jacobs, Chris Godwin, Chris Olave, Greg Dortch. Greg Dortch is questionable. I know Rondale Moore could play this week. They're typically playing the same position. It could impact his overall upside. And then you have Zach Ertz, you have Kamara and Breece Hall as your 2 flex backs. That's pretty good. All right, so let's see here. Here's my matchup. Okay, let's see here. I mean, look, in terms of who you're starting, I think you're in a pretty good spot, assuming, of course, Chris Godwin does play. If Chris Godwin plays, you're good to go. If he doesn't, you got to scramble to get another wide receiver option because you don't have any other ones. Because Julio may not play. AJ Green is definitely not going to play. Nelson Aguilar, I don't think you can trust against Green Bay, especially with Brian Hoyer probably under center there. It's going to be rough. Do me a favor, Ulysses, just if you can, just ask me context. What the heck are you just asking for lineup advice or trade advice? Let me know in the Twitter DM. Thank you. Okay. I'm going to scroll up here. We're going to slowly go down this list in terms of answering questions. Again, if you guys sent in a donation, I'll get to it in a bit. Just be patient. I'm going to try to answer some people's questions in terms of just the chat. I appreciate it. Thank you. Okay. Should I trade Christian McCaffrey for Amon-Ra St. Brown and Cordero Patterson? If you are desperate enough to get a wide receiver and you're willing to move Christian McCaffrey forward, I suppose you can. I always think of Christian McCaffrey, what his potential upside looks like. And if Baker in any week switches his mind and starts passing to the running back, I mean, we're back to Christian McCaffrey looking like the Christian McCaffrey of old. That being said, he's also dealing with an injury right now. So, there's a little bit of a conversation as to how risk averse you are. Can you go pick up his backups? How desperate are you for that wide receiver? Because Amon-Ra St. Brown still dealing with the injury himself. But right now, I'm probably saying no to that in terms of rest of season outlook. Do you like James Conner or CeeDee Lamb in the flex more this week? James Conner plays against Carolina. I think that's it's a fairly reasonable matchup per se. But if we're playing in a full PPR, I'm probably leaning towards CeeDee Lamb. In a half PPR, I can make the argument to play James Conner, but even then, I mean, I look at the team as a whole, the Arizona Cardinals. They've been relatively slow to get started in every single game. They do not score early. They're very similar to the way that the Saints have looked this season. They are not first half football teams. They are typically late third, early fourth quarter, into the fourth quarter teams, and that's where they get majority of their work done. So as of right now, I'm going to say CeeDee Lamb's probably the play there. Waller or Garrett Wilson this week? Ooh, I don't like the idea of playing Waller. If I'm comparing him to Garrett Wilson, I'd probably go Garrett Wilson there. But again, Garrett Wilson is under the assumption that Zach Wilson is a good enough quarterback to get the job done. I'm going to go ahead and give him the benefit of the doubt this week, and I'd go Garrett there. Lockett, Hunt, or CH in the flex. I'm thinking Lockett is honestly a good play. If Jeff Okudah is going to lock down DK Metcalf on one side of the field, and he's going to do his magic, there's a very good chance that I forget his first name, but I know his last name's Oruwariye. He's going to be on Lockett probably. And if he is, hey, Lockett's had 11 targets and 9 receptions each of the last 2 weeks. So if you're playing in this sort of PPR format, Lockett looks like a good option. Should I trade Amari Cooper for Mike Evans? I would. I feel more comfortable mainly because of the scheme of the offense, the quarterback play, and the wide receiver. There's just more consistency across the board there in comparison to having to trust in Jacoby, Brissett to get the job done every week, especially in a run-first offense when the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, we all know, they're a pass-first offense. Brady set his career high in passing attempts last year with over 700 in that offense. So I'm leaning in the direction of just going in and saying, let's get Evans in that regard. Romeo Doubs or Rashad Bateman, full PPR. I'd go Romeo Doubs this week. I don't know what the weather's going to look like between that Buffalo Bills and Ravens game, but as of right now, considering how touchdown dependent, Rashad Bateman is, the target opportunity that he's going to need to see in order to be relevant, I'm probably leaning towards the idea of just going Dobbs there. Juju, Garrett Wilson, or Penny and a half PPR scoring format. I want to say Penny because of the matchup alone and the fact that he is still the primary back in terms of snaps, in terms of rushing attempts. So I'm probably leaning towards Penny, but it's pretty close to playing Garrett Wilson there. I don't think Juju's an option in my opinion in that regard. Let's see here. Should I trade Lockett for Chris Olave if they don't accept Lockett and Pollard? I wouldn't. That's going hard. I don't know what the rest of your team looks like, Beast. Again, a lot of the questions you guys ask, if you're asking in a vacuum, it's hard for me to give you 100% sound advice when I don't know what the rest of your team looks like, right? Because you could trade away Pollard, but maybe your next running back that's up, to be a starter every single week has to be Melvin Gordon. And that, then we're sitting in a position where do we want to do that? Do we want to make that kind of a commitment? So I don't know what the rest of your team looks like. As of right now, I'd say probably keep what you have and kind of roll with it. Okay, so there was a couple more donations that were sent in. Let me go ahead and address those really quickly. Where were we at? So Joseph Hagen, thank you very much. I appreciate the donation, supporting the channel in that regard. He said in a full PPR standard league, I have Curtis Samuel, I have Christian Kirk, I have Tyler Conklin, I have Tyler Lockett. Playing on my bench, we have Michael Gallup, Juju, Devonta Smith, Dalton Schultz. What would you change? In terms of this week, I'm playing Conklin probably over Schultz, even if Schultz is active. In terms of Samuel, Kirk, and then Lockett, I'm thinking Devonta Smith could take the position of Lockett, but I'm okay with either of those there. They're relatively close in terms of rankings, but either way, I think your team is pretty much set up for success with Samuel, Christian Kirk, and Lockett there. I personally would just prefer Devonta Smith. Thank you. Matthew Garcia, thank you for the donation. I appreciate that. Could Herbert be Bears' permanent back? You know what? You never know. Again, it's a new coaching regime. It's a new general manager. They may be looking at Khalil Herbert as the guy to the future. They may be looking at David Montgomery and thinking, his rookie contract's about to end. Maybe we want to start transitioning towards Khalil Herbert. You never know. But also that injury that he sustained, it looked brutal, guys. I don't know if you were able to catch that. I was able to watch it on the replay of NFL Plus, but as of right now, that thing was that was brutal. I think there's a very good chance that Montgomery could very easily miss not only 2 to 3 weeks, but maybe even a month here. I'm surprised that he's missed the IR, and luckily he has. Hopefully he's healthy, and going to come back for us next week. That's the hope. But as of right now, hasn't practiced at all this week. Tyler Jansen, thank you very much, says, would you trade Curtis Samuel for Kareem Hunt? I guess it depends on what kind of running back depth you need and what kind of scoring format you're in. I mean, based on the fact that Curtis Samuel has seen an average of 10 targets per week throughout the first 3 weeks of the season, I'm leaning towards the idea that I'd rather have Curtis Samuel on roster. But Kareem Hunt, again, the association with the offense, one of the best running schemes in the entire National Football League, behind one of the best offensive lines. And we know he is given goal line opportunities. So at any given moment, all we need to see is Nick Chubb get them down to the field, and Kareem Hunt can end up with, being a 15-point running back just because, Nick Chubb has gifted it to him. But for right now, I'm probably leaning in the direction of Curtis Samuel. If you need the running back depth, I don't mind it, but again, it's tough to analyze in terms of just a vacuum. Matt K says, flex pick this week, Pollard, Bateman, or Zay Jones. Matt, I don't know what your scoring format is. Hopefully next time you can mention that. But as of right now, in a half PPR scoring format, I'm most likely rolling with, if I'm picking one of these guys, if it's a half PPR scoring format, I'm most likely rolling with, it's most likely Pollard in a half PPR and Zay Jones in a full PPR. Thank you. Efren sending a donation, saying, struggling at the flex position this week. All right, Efren, let's see what we can do here. We have Josh Allen, Davis Mills, Jared Goff as our 3 quarterbacks. Okay, you're fine. You're playing Josh Allen. Damian Pierce, DeAndre Swift. Okay, so Swift is going to be out. We have DK Juju, DJ Moore, Garrett Wilson, Gabe Davis, Kyle Pitts, and a random bench. If in terms of who you're playing in the flex this week, I mean, assuming you're starting, who's your other running backs though? You need another running back, my man. Unless you guys only start one running back in this league, Swift is probably not going to play unless I wasn't, privy to the information that he practiced today. I can go ahead and confirm that right now. Let's see here. If I go to my injury sources, we go to the Detroit Lions tab here. As of today, DeAndre Swift did not practice shoulder and ankle. Yep, that's not a surprise. And neither did Amon-Ra St. Brown. That's a little bit worrisome. Hopefully he's going to be healthy this weekend, especially in a good matchup against Seattle. Nonetheless, I don't know what the rest of your team looks like. You only mentioned 2 running backs here. You need to start another running back in that regard. But otherwise, in terms of who you're starting, a wide receiver, I'm probably looking towards the idea of playing Garrett Wilson and Gabriel Davis and DK Metcalf. Those would be your 3 options, 2 wide receivers, 1 flex. Corey Olson says, what's up? What's up? Lamb or Patterson in the flex full PPR? Probably play CeeDee Lamb over Cordero Patterson this week. Thank you. Efren sent in another donation, said, meant to say super flex league. What would you look to do? Okay, look, if you're looking to make a trade in this term, you probably, in a super flex format, you have to keep Jared Goff and Josh Allen. Those have to be your primary guys, Efren. So in terms of where you go forward, most likely you got to move a lot of these wide receiver pieces. If you have to, you might have to go sell DK Metcalf just to get a running back to fill in for Swift for the next couple of weeks. I think that should be your main primary focus here in terms of addressing. Trade Day, send in a donation. Thank you. It says, pick one for my running back and one for my flex. Okay, cool. So we have Pierce, Breece Hall, Jamal. I'm assuming that's Jamal Williams. Jamal W. Yep. Okay, Garrett Wilson and Rashad Penny. So So Jamal Williams gets the number 1 RB spot, and your flex as of right now is probably going to be Damian Pierce, in my opinion. Thank you. Mike Koch said, which 2 would you start in a full PPR scoring format? We have Jeff Wilson Jr., we have Clyde Edwards-Helaire, Brandon Cooks, Amari Cooper, Zay Jones, Robert Woods. So I'm for sure playing Amari Cooper against the Atlanta Falcons. And then to follow that up, I'm probably playing Clyde Edwards-Helaire. Those are most likely the 2 that I would want to play. The next best guy on this list is probably Cooks and maybe Zay Jones if you trust Zay. But I think I'm pretty comfortable going CEH and Cooper there. Gucci Han, Louis Han says, my guy, I need 2 out of the potential options here. So we have both of the New England backs. We have A.J. Dillon and we have Jeff Wilson Jr. As of this moment, I'm probably going ahead and saying let's play Jeff Wilson for sure. And then the next best option is probably Ramondre Stevenson. That's probably where I'm going there. Just off of getting the receptions out of the backfield and hoping that he's majority of the matchup in itself and the game script in itself will lead to a lot of passing from this offense, especially in the second half, and him getting a lot of checkdowns going in his direction. Corey Olson says, hey, bro, would you play Goddard or Njoku this week? I play Goddard. Thank you. Brandon Horan says, my running backs are Christian McCaffrey, Leonard Fournette, James Robinson, Antonio Gibson. Should I trade James Robinson / Waller for Kelsey? Remember, like CH, Fournette, James Robinson, Gibson. As much as I like Kelsey, here's my issue with this entire scenario, okay? Gibson needs to be probably traded as well. You need to go find another running back after that because just kind of putting it in perspective, McCaffrey already dealing with injury this week. Fournette has been dealing with a hamstring injury for the last couple of weeks. Gibson's going to get replaced after week 5 because here comes Brian Robinson. If we go ahead and we trade a running back, we're not getting one in return, it could be very risky. I love the Kelsey, but for right now, I'm thinking I'm just keeping what you have because if your running back depth disappears in any regard due to an injury in the upcoming weeks and you don't have the handcuffs to fill in and have good enough performances, it may be too much of a risk. I think I'm just keeping what you have there, Brandon. Bill Bouchard said, gotten some bad offers for Kirk / Cooper and Cooper. Sorry, Amari Cooper. Edmonds for Kirk, Akers for Cooper. That's awful. I mean, I would never accept those. Would Hall for Cooper and J-Rob for Kirk be okay? In the full PPR, I need running backs. If you're in need of a running back, I'm perfectly fine with... I mean, Hall should have great upside going forward. J-Rob for Christian Kirk. I think J-Rob for Christian Kirk is something that I'm very interested in. I think I'm interested in both those options, but primarily the J-Rob one. Thank you. Gucci Han says, I need 2 for a full PPR. Okay, we answered that. We're good to go. Thank you very much, Gucci Han. Jaden Thornton said, trade Bateman / Javonte and to get Kamara / Garrett Wilson. Wait, trading Rashad Bateman and Javonte Williams to get Kamara and Garrett Wilson? Yes. Give me Kamara, Garrett Wilson. Thank you. Jada Molina says, full PPR, flex position, Mike Evans or Dalvin Cook. You really had to do that to me, huh? Okay, so at this point, in a full PPR scoring format, I'm probably leaning in the direction of playing Dalvin Cook against the New Orleans Saints in London or Mike Evans. I'd probably play Mike Evans. That's probably where I'd go in a full PPR. Thank you. Okay, back to the chat. Let's see here. Start Olave or Samuel as my wide receiver 2. Herbert or one of those wide receivers in the flex. If David Montgomery is inactive, I would like to play Khalil Herbert this week against the New York Giants. As for these 2 wide receiver options, I think Olave's determining factor, Kellen, is purely going to be as to whether or not Michael Thomas, Jarvis Landry, and Jameis Winston are healthy. If all of them across the board are healthy, I'd probably go with Curtis Samuel. If even one of those 2 receiver options are questionable to play, I'm playing Olave. No questions asked. I'm good to go there. All right, let's hear. Says, how you guys doing? Okay, let's see here. Full PPR league. I have Alvin Kamara, Najee Harris, Khalil Herbert, Jeff Wilson. Who do I start? And okay, one over the. Okay, so let's see here. So of the potential running back options you have, Alvin Kamara is an automatic start for me. I think Khalil Herbert is as well. Najee Harris is probably your flex. Okay, so who should I start? And which one should I start over Olave, Cook, and Curtis Samuel in the flex? Ooh, that's a good question. It's a full PPR scoring format, huh? I'm probably starting all 3 of these backs, to be honest. I'm probably playing Khalil Herbert, Alvin Kamara as my primary 2 backs, and I'm probably playing Najee Harris in my flex. I have a hard time not playing Najee Harris in a given week, even though it may not be the best idea based on the amount of reception some of these guys have gotten. I'm assuming against the Jets, he could probably have himself a pretty nice week here, so I'm probably playing those 3 backs. If you have the ability to play more than just 3 backs and you have an additional flex option, like I was mentioning with the prior comment in regards to Olave and Curtis Samuel, it purely depends on whether or not Michael Thomas and the boys are healthy. Let's see here. Just traded for Debo. Where the heck did that comment go? Traded Judy, Bateman, Scantling. Good or bad? I'm okay with it. Scantling is worthless in my opinion. So you basically traded Judy and Bateman for Debo. Again, if you have more wide receiver depth, I'm fine with it. I'm purely fine with it. Because again, Russell Wilson doesn't look great. Bateman requires a lot of touchdown upside, and he's not going to get a lot of targets on top of it. And then you got Debo, who, we know what Debo is capable of. I'm sure we all know. Aaron Jones or Khalil Herbert this week. Currently, I have Khalil Herbert ranked higher in both full and half PPR scoring formats. Standard would be identical as well. Who do I start out of Higgins? Okay, who do I start out of Higgins, CD, Sutton, London, McLaurin? Higgins has already played, so I don't think you have an option of playing him. I would pretty much refer Adam back to my Wednesday wide receiver rankings. In terms of who I had ranked higher, we would still be in the conversation of trying to play Higgins, Sutton, and CD. And then the next best option would be London. So if you didn't start Higgins tonight, your best three options are CeeDee Lamb, London, and Sutton. Thank you. Would you start Juju, Lockett, or Olave on my flex position? I would probably play Olave this week, and then Lockett, then Juju in that order in a half PPR. Again, my rankings from Wednesday kind of give you an indication as to where I would go in that regard. Do I start Craig Reynolds, Antonio Gibson, or Garrett Wilson in a full PPR? They play against the Dallas Cowboys. I don't mind playing Antonio Gibson there. I think Antonio Gibson is a decent play. Yeah, I'd probably lean in that direction. I'd probably go Gibby. It's Gibby, then Garrett, then Craig Reynolds. I don't want to play Craig Reynolds until I have an indication as to what kind of utilization he's going to get out of that backfield. He's probably just going to be a handcuff. It's going to be all Jamal Williams all day there. Olave, DK, or Keenan Allen in the flex. Keenan Allen didn't practice today, which is really concerning. So with that taken into consideration, we're probably in a position where most likely it's between DK and Olave, and I'm beginning to lean more towards Chris Olave. I'm just putting it out there. So as of right now, I'm probably going in that Chris Olave direction there, even though it's tough to do with DK Metcalf, the amount of talent he has. I'm just worried about that Jeff Okudah one-on-one coverage kind of locking him down for that day. Okay, let me go ahead. There was a couple more donations that were sent in. Just want to go ahead and KJ sent in a donation, said, I have Eckler, I have Chubb, I have Kareem Herbert? No. I have Khalil Herbert. I have Deebo Samuel, Justin Jefferson. Okay, so you have a monster team. Who we starting? Okay, again, guys, if you're asking starter sit questions on a Thursday, you're more than welcome to do so, but understand that on Sunday morning, I will have updated rankings. Obviously, if you're asking in regards to, hey, who do I start? Because there's a Sunday morning London game, and that's going to be far earlier, and you're not going to even be live for that, Andrew, then I understand. But in regards to the potential of your lineup, a lot of things can change from now until Saturday, Sunday, so just be aware of that. Of the players you mentioned, KJ, the two running backs I'm starting are Eckler and Chubb. The two wide receivers I'm starting are Justin Jefferson and Stephon Diggs. And if I'm sitting between Khalil Herbert and playing Deebo Samuel in your flex position in a full PPR scoring format, it's horribly difficult, but I'm probably playing Deebo there. Thank you. Let's see here. We have Aaron Jones, Jamal Williams. I'm leaning towards Williams. John, I 100% agree with that. I would lean with Williams as well. Prod said full PPR, Patterson, Connor, or Breece Hall in a full PPR scoring format. I'd probably play Connor there. Prod had said, thinking of going Hall. Good helping of targets. Here's the thing. It's a quarterback change. And from the history of what we've seen Zach Wilson produce specifically last season, now it could change, but last year, Zach Wilson didn't target the running back position very much. And that in itself concerns me because I don't think Breece Hall is coming out of this week with 11 targets. And if he does, I'll eat my words. And I'll be happy to do so because that would be an incredible stat line. But I'm of the opinion that it's most likely going to look like a week in which he's not getting that many targets. So I'm leaning in the direction of Connor right now. Thank you, Prod. C. Banger says, how do you feel about Christian McCaffrey and Saquon Barkley as my RB1 and 2, given their current and recent injury history? Any concerns with that? Should I make a trade? Don't have a top 10 wide receiver, Higgins, Deontay, and Cooks. I mean, listen, you do have a top 10 wide receiver. His name is T. Higgins, my guy. You do. You have one, and I think you're good to go to keep what you have on roster. So don't worry about that. Do I start Alvin Kamara this week? He's been horrible. Week 1 was injured. Week 2 didn't play. Week 3 had a touchdown stolen from him. I don't think he's been horrible. In comparison to where you may have drafted him, the value that you've received based on the investment you made has been underwhelming. But I would still say that, yes, you want to start him. And the matchup is beautiful against Minnesota this week. So I'm full for it. Let me see here. What else do we have? Jaden Thornton had said, I have Chase in one of my leagues. Time to sell? No, I wouldn't sell him. Because look, what are you going to sell him for? You're going to sell him for peanuts. At this point, you gotta hunker down and you gotta hold your cards. And and just roll with the punches. Corey Olson said, I made sure I had Williams being Swift owner. Do you think I need a handcuff for Henry? Really didn't think so, because if he goes down, I'm screwed anyway. I mean, if you want, you can go pick up Hassan Haskins. He's his immediate pickup, but I don't think you need it. I mean, knock on wood, Derrick Henry's a machine. Let's hear Joshua Wilkins sent in a donation. Thank you, Joshua. I appreciate that. Keep riding Christian Kirk in the flex position or go with these other options. I'd still run with Christian Kirk. Again, half PPR, 14 plus points in 3 consecutive weeks. Don't even care that he plays against Philadelphia. I'm running him out there. He's earned that from me. Matthew Hudson says Debo or Swift in a half PPR. Debo for Swift in a half PPR. Yes, if you can get Swift rest of season, I'd rather have him over Debo. Yeah, I'm okay with that. Thank you. Alrighty, let's see here. A couple more questions in the chat. In a moment here, I'm going to be participating in a couple underdog drafts. If you guys want to join alongside of me, you very well can. If you guys are interested, last week I ended up winning some money from some of you guys. We did some drafts against one another, and I ended up winning one of those 2 leagues. Pretty happy about it. But anyway, if you guys are just joining us, how many people are in here? Let's see here. We got about 400 of you. I want to thank you guys for, of course, coming out this Thursday afternoon, or Thursday night, actually. For some of you, it may be midnight on the East Coast. I want to thank you guys for supporting the channel, coming out here. I know I typically don't stream, and this was kind of an impromptu one. I didn't mention it in the video, but it was at the very end of our video earlier today. So I do appreciate you guys coming out, supporting the channel in this regard. For those of you who just sent in some questions via donation, I'll get to that in just a moment. Just want to answer a couple more questions here in the chat and give you guys a little bit more context as for this week. Again, we will be streaming Saturday and Sunday morning as well. So even if you don't get your question answered today, we will have rankings up to date on screen Sunday morning, helping you guys out as best as I possibly can. All right, let's see here. Pick 2 out of 3. We have Jamal Williams, James Robinson, and Khalil Herbert. Ha ha ha, Ben. Ha ha ha. I would go Jamal Williams, and I'd probably go Khalil Herbert. It may be crazy to not start James Robinson, but I am legitimately in fear of the Philadelphia Eagles run-stopping defense. The last couple weeks, they have been really good in terms of stopping running back. So that fear that has already been instilled in me is rough. If in fact you're like, hey, Andrew, I have to start James Robinson, then at that point, I would pair him up with Jamal Williams. And Herbert will be last. But right now, I'm comfortable going Jamal and Khalil. McKenzie or Akers in the flex, since Amon-Ra St. Brown most likely will be out. If in fact he is out, and you have to decide between one of these 2 options, I'm probably leaning towards Akers. I think McKenzie's overall target count was a product of Gabriel Davis not only being, I guess, limited in his role overall, more like a distraction than anything. And then on top of that, I just read a comment and it kind of shocked me for a second there. So as of right now, I'm probably going Akers over McKenzie. Jason had said, Andrew, tell Kevin his team sucks. No, you know what? Kevin's team is probably good. How about that? Zay Jones, Myers, or Burks in the full PPR. I'd go Zay Jones. I don't want Myers as the backup quarterback, and I don't want to trust Treylon Burks just yet. So I go Zay Jones there. Khalil Herbert, Jamal Williams, and Kamara. Who do I start with Henry? If I'm starting one of these options with Henry, it's probably Jamal Williams, actually. I'd probably play Jamal Williams. Let's see here. Full PPR, Cook or Patterson. If Dalvin Cook is active, I probably want to play him. Yeah, I'd probably play him. Let's see here. Hey, Andrew, should I trade Pierce and Thielen for Olave in a full PPR? No, I'd keep Pierce and Thielen going forward. Even with the depth you have at running back, I'd still want to keep that depth going forward. Waller or Conklin? I'd probably roll with Waller this week. Again, Conklin is, I think he's my number 12 tight end, but Waller is my number 4 or 5 this week. Again, Waller is going to continue to be a mainstay in that offense. I believe Hunter Renfrow is going to miss another week here, so it does, kind of provide more opportunity in that regard. Hazard says sell Mixon. I mean, hey, to each their own. If that's what you feel, you can do that. 2020, sorry, what does that say? 2000 to shave your beard, says Mr. Blob. No, you're going to have to go like way up, Mr. Blob, way up. Let's times that by 10 and then we'll talk about it. Yeah. How about that? Eagles or Broncos defense this week? Eagles or Broncos? I'm probably leaning towards playing the Eagles defense. Connor over Dalvin Cook and Curtis Samuel in the flex. If Dalvin Cook is active, I'd play him over Connor and Curtis Samuel. If he's not, obviously, then you'd play Connor. Should I trade Michael Thomas and AJ Brown for Debo and Mike Evans? I don't mind that. I do prefer. Let me think about this. If we're just comparing them straight up in a vacuum, and maybe we're just trading 2 for 2 wide receivers, yeah, I'm okay with that. I'll take Debo and Evans on that side of the trade. Let's see here. Adam says no to shaving the beard ever. I mean, listen, dude. Every man's got a price. Mine's just extremely high. Keenan Allen Keenan Allen for Robinson half PPR. Oscar, if you need a running back, I think that could very easily work. It's just a matter of how desperate you are in need of that running back position. Colts or Vikings? I probably lean towards Vikings to an extent, mainly because I don't actually, you know what, it depends. Let's wait and see what the injuries look like by Friday. If the practice report comes back that everyone's active for the Saints, then we're probably going to play the Colts there. Otherwise, the Vikings could be a pretty enticing option considering how bad Winston has played in the last couple weeks here. I traded Pittman for Dalvin Cook. How did I do? I love it. I have no complaints with that. Do you have Alexander Madison? Because if you do, it helps. Otherwise, you have Sutton in Hollywood. That's fine by me. I'm okay with that. Akers or Ramondre Stevenson? I'd play Akers this week. Hazard, Akers. Kamara, Herbert. Yeah, I think we answered. Yeah. Okay, so we're playing one of these other two. Goody, I'd probably say... let's see what tomorrow's practice report says. If everybody's active for this offense, we'll lean away from Kamara. We'll go Herbert. And if it's the other way around, we'll play Kamara. Because otherwise, they're like back-to-back in my rankings. All right, so a couple of you sent in a donation, so I'm going to go ahead and check those out real quick, answer those. I appreciate you guys sending in those. Of course, supporting the channel in that regard. You do not have to send in donations. Honestly, a lot of you send in $10 donations. Take those $10, go to Underdog Fantasy, use promo code Andrew, sign up, make a first-time deposit, minimum of $10. Go put together a pick'em slip, double your money. You know what I mean? Like, you can do that with it. But hey, I appreciate you guys supporting the channel, keeping these very bright lights on, and going forward. Appreciate it. So, Isaac Bennett says, do you think I have potential down the stretch? I have a 10-team league, and we have Carr, we have Michael Pittman Jr., we have Christian Kirk. Our running backs are Hall, Najee Harris, and we have Waller at tight end. And then my flex options are DK Sutton, Curtis Samuel. My bench is Kenneth Walker, Elijah Mitchell, Rashad White, and Eno Benjamin. I think you definitely have potential. It's certainly going to be a matter of whether those two running backs that you currently are your starters, Breece Hall and Najee Harris, step up. Because we know that as of late, your team has seen a lot of inconsistency. Now, your wide receivers are probably the positions that I'm not even worried about. I'm fine with Waller there. Carr is a little bit of a roller coaster, but if Najee Harris and Breece Hall lock it in the next couple weeks here, which they hopefully should based on their schedules, I think you'll be fine. I mean, if you want the next best option, you take, Cortland Sutton or Curtis Samuel, and you make a trade and try to improve that second running back position. Try to get something that's better than Breece Hall right now that can fill in for him so that in future weeks, even if Breece Hall isn't at that RB1 spot, dominating touches out of this backfield, dominating snaps, we're still in a position where we're getting ample production from that RB2. Anthony C says, hey, Andrew, in a full PPR scoring format, I need 2 wide receivers, 2 running backs, and 2 flex options for this week. Here is what I have. Okay, so if I'm suggesting, Anthony, to start this week, the 2 wide receivers that I'm looking at that I would like to start from your team is Christian Kirk and Cortland Sutton, for sure. I want to play Khalil Herbert, and I want to play Eckler as your running backs. And then to follow that up, in terms of your 2 flex options, I'm playing Dameon Pierce, and I'm playing Marquise Hollywood Brown. I appreciate it. Thank you, Anthony. Flipside Fishing says, I need your help. I need an RB2 and a flex option for this week. The player options that I have are Akers, Etienne, Dortch. Lastly, okay, so let's get to this first. Your RB2 is going to be Akers. Your flex option, assuming, is this a full PPR? Doesn't say anything about scoring format. If it's a full PPR, it's Dortch. Even if it's not a full PPR, I think it's still Dortch. Lastly, do I drop Mac Hollins on my bench for Michael Gallup? Yeah, I think Michael Gallup certainly has a better longevity in terms of what his production is going to look like, especially when Dak comes back. IB Russ 23, thank you very much. Says PPR traded DK Metcalf, Zeke Mixon, London for Henry Olave, Deontay Johnson. I have Mahomes, Jones, Did I win this trade? Let me look at this. Henry Olave, Deontay Johnson. In terms of the production that Mixon, London, and DK put forth. Okay, so that's over that. That's over that. I think it's a relatively... Honestly, I like London more than Deontay Johnson right now. Mixon and Henry are pretty eye and eye in my opinion. So it's a matter of... In a PPR, you really need Olave to show up and show out. Otherwise, this is looking at a trade like, I'm not too excited about it in a full PPR yet. But it's a matter of whether that full PPR structure just kind of takes you over the top, because Deontay Johnson, 8 catches, 80 yards every week. He's locking himself as a wide receiver, high-end wide receiver 2 every week based on his receptions alone, not even counting touchdowns yet. So you're getting pretty good production there. I think London's pretty equal in that regard. So at this point, it's a matter of whether or not Olave shows up and shows out. That's going to be the biggest difference maker there. Thank you. Dale Derrick says full PPR. Juju Smith-Schuster, Tyler Conklin, A.J. Dillon, or Devin Duvernay in the flex. I'm playing Juju there. Thank you. I have Lamar and I have Goddard starting at my tight end position. Yeah, you're fine. I think you're good to go. I'm still playing Juju there. Mac Hagler says 10 teams, full PPR. We have Burrow. We have Dalvin Cook. We have Dillon. We have Hunt. We have Pierce. We have CeeDee Lamb. Oh my goodness, we have so many options. Where can I improve? Okay, so Burrow's fine. Your running backs are fine. You have Hunt, yep, you're fine there. You have Michael Thomas, you have Garrett Wilson, you have Godwin. Godwin will fill in soon. Kyle Pitts is your tight end. I mean, honestly, if I'm looking for an immediate upgrade, I'm trying to go ahead and I'm trying to upgrade a wide receiver too. I may be going after the guy who has Jamar Chase, and I'm like, hey, cough him up, let's go. I'll give you Michael Thomas, and I'll give you, hopefully Thielen has another great week here. Send both those veterans out and give me the young wide receiver. You know what I mean? That's what I'm looking to do. Try to trade 2 wide receivers, get an upgrade at your wide receiver 2 option going forward. Let's see here. Barry sent in a question, says, already have my RB and my flex. With wide receiver 1 and wide receiver 2, do I play these potential options? Of the options that you mentioned, I'm looking towards Curtis Samuel and probably Gabriel Davis as your number 1 and 2 this week. Thank you. Griffin Herbert said, Zeke or Cooks in a full PPR? Zeke, I'm probably going Zeke. Brandon Cooks is going to have to prove it to me, kind of thing. It's kind of unfortunate that we've gotten to this position, but I'm going to wait and say he's going to have to prove it, and then we'll get to that comfortability position later on. WX11 says trade ? Two is my starting quarterback. Should I trade Kyle Pitts and Chris Olave for Aaron Rodgers and George Kittle? I don't really like that. Or do I roll with Winston off of free agency? There's no Mariota. That's my first response. Like, there's no Mariota, there's no Goff, there's no Trevor Lawrence. If there really isn't any other option, I still don't want to trade for Aaron Rodgers, man. Aaron Rodgers is not a good enough quarterback for me to feel confident with rest of season. And I think the trade is relatively fair to an extent if you're in desperate need of a quarterback, but I would try to get another quarterback, something that's far better than this. I'd rather go after, let me think about this. If I'm looking for a quarterback to go snag right now, maybe I go try to get Dak Prescott, and then I'm just kind of sitting back and waiting, and for the next couple of weeks, I just stream quarterbacks, and then kind of figure it out from there. Derek Just says, hey, Andrew, in a full PPR, I have A.J. Dillon, I have Penny, I have Pollard. Okay, and then so if I'm playing one of those 3 options, I'm probably playing Penny this week. And then your follow-up question, full PPR, Kirk Cousins or Marcus Mariota. I have Pitts, and I'm down 38, and I have Dak on the IR. If I'm playing one of those 2 quarterbacks, I'm playing Kirk Cousins. Thank you. Jordan P says, start 1, PPR, Pierce, Etienne, Jeff Wilson, Dobbs, Elijah Mitchell. Elijah Mitchell's not playing. Oh, that's Elijah Moore. My apologies. It just said Elijah M. I assumed it was Mitchell. So if I'm playing one full PPR, it's either Pierce or it's Dobbs. And as of right now, Pierce against the Chargers, I'm actually not mad at it. I probably play Pierce there. Give Dobbs another week to prove it, and then once he does, we're all systems go. All right, flex Jamal Williams or Sutton. D'Angelo, we're playing Jamal Williams there without a doubt. Michael Pittman this week, playing against the Titans. Absolutely. He's a must start this week. He's, I think, my number 9 tight end. Okay, Shannon, thank you. Please help. Connor or James Robinson? I'm going James Robinson there. Njoku or Hawkinson? I currently have Hawkinson higher, mainly because of the Amon-Ra St. Brown potential missing and Swift for sure missing. I traded Gibson for Zeke straight up. Thoughts? I'm okay with that because, again, Gibson's going to lose value in a couple weeks. Zeke maintains his, and when Dak comes back, honestly, gains more. Let me scroll back up. I know there was more people that were asking Hawkinson or Njoku. We got to that. RB trade targets. Again, a lot of the ones that I mentioned last week are still there. Like, I'm still 100% willing to go after Kamara. I'm still 100% willing to go after, Austin Eckler. Give me Breece Hall. Give me Josh Jacobs. Give me these players that other people aren't really valuing very high that I want to have on my roster because they may not have had great performances as of late, but you can go ahead and ensure that, yeah, they're probably going to have bounce back weeks for sure. Mike Williams or Christian Kirk rest of the season? Conventional wisdom would say play Mike Williams rest of the season, but the inconsistency that Mike Williams has shown in his career is already it has instilled enough fear in my mind where I'm even considering Christian Kirk. But the whole question is, if Christian Kirk doesn't end up scoring touchdowns every single week, does my mind change? And the answer is yes. So as of right now, I'm probably leaning towards the Mike Williams part of this deal. But Christian Kirk, I mean, man, it's hard for me to tilt away from him considering how many looks he's getting and how much, success he's already found. Do you think Christian McCaffrey is going to be good for Sunday? No clue. I'll call his manager tomorrow and I'll give you a little bit of insight on that. Connor or Herbert? I'm playing Herbert. Hey, boss. Quick question. Half PPR, Curtis Samuel, Adam Thielen, or Antonio Gibson? If I'm playing one of these options, it's most likely Antonio Gibson, and then Curtis Samuel, and then Adam Thielen. Who should I start in the flex? Jerry Jeudy, Devonta Smith, Drake London, Keenan Allen? Drake London. I traded Antonio Gibson for Breece Hall. David, congratulations. You did it, my man. That's absolute steal. Absolute steal. Let's see here. Wilson or Lawrence this week in the starting position? I'm probably playing Wilson. I know it may be crazy, but that's what I'm doing. I'll play Sutton over Olave. Who do I start in the flex this week? Jerry, Jeudy, Devonta. Oh, yeah, we already did that. We're playing Drake London. Trade Fournette, JJ for Najee Harris, AJ Brown, and Rashad Bateman. I'd rather have Fournette and JJ. I have Javon. Yeah, I'd rather have Fournette and JJ. Amari Cooper or Dameon Pierce, half PPR. Probably Amari Cooper. Eagles defense this week or Giants, Colts, or Chargers. Depends what the weather looks like for that game against the Bears, but I'm probably leaning against playing the Eagles defense this week. Time to drop ETN for Melvin Gordon. I don't mind it. Especially considering Melvin Gordon's coming off a week in which he had 18 opportunities. He had 5 targets. He had 13 rushing attempts. That is numbers that we cannot expect to see from Travis Etienne anytime soon unless James Robinson's missing time. Connor or Herbert, we already did that. Picked up Breece Hall off waivers. Congratulations, Sean. Brady or Goff this week? I have Goff, I think, higher than Brady. I can confirm that in a moment. But I'm fairly certain I have him over. If, in fact, Amon-Ra St. Brown doesn't play, I'd play Brady. Let's just put it that way. Let's see here. Is Kamara a sell? No, I think Kamara's a buy. I snagged Breece Hall and Zach Ertz last week. Wow. That's crazy, Crypt. Trade CEH, guys. He has a tough schedule ahead. I mean, don't even get me started about schedule, man. I preach schedule every damn week, and still people don't listen about it. It's crazy. Let's see here. There was a couple more questions sent in via donation. While we do that, I'm going to go ahead and let's transition here. I want to go ahead and do a couple drafts. If you guys would like to join me, via some Underdog fantasy drafts, we can go ahead and do that right now. I'll put together a couple private drafts for those of you who want to help, not even just help. For those of you who want to help yourselves play more fantasy football every week and maybe win some money for me, we're going to play a league. It's a $3 buy-in. There's 6 teams. We draft for the Sunday slate of games. So if you're interested, I'm going to post that in the chat right now. And we're going to play. So if you guys are interested, hop on in. I'm going to go ahead and change screens here. And I will be in the middle of the screen. There will be no chat on screen, but I will try to refer to you guys as we've kind of progressed throughout this. So, again, if you guys want to join this chat or join this draft, you can go ahead and go down to the link in the actual description of the video and you click that. You can sign up using promo code Andrew today. When you make a first-time deposit, minimum of $10, you'll be given a first-time deposit match up to $100. So if you deposit 10, you'll get 10. Deposit 20, you get 20. Up and forward all the way to 100. So if you're interested, check that out. Outside of that, we should be good to go. We're waiting on a couple people. A couple people bowed out, no big deal. We're good to go. Just waiting to see if anybody would like to join. If no one wants to join, no problem. I'll just draft by myself in public leagues. That's what I probably will do in a couple minutes here if no one's interested. But if you're interested, check that out. There's a link in the moving chat that I just posted a couple minutes ago. I'll repost it if we don't get any movement. I'm assuming we're not getting much movement here. Anyway, Derek sent in a donation a little bit earlier. You know what? While we're doing this, this is what I'll do. While we wait here, I'm just going to hop into my own draft, I guess. Yeah, I'll just do that. So let's go to NFL. Sorry, let's go to the battle royale for this weekend. I'll just hop into one of these so that we can just watch me draft until we get to people joining the other one. Okay. So there was a couple donations sent here. So, okay, Mike, first and foremost, said Debo for Pittman and AJ Dillon. If you're giving Debo and you're getting AJ Dillon and Pittman back, I'd say yes. Derek Just says, rank my team full PPR. Derek Carr, Geno Smith. Okay. Running backs are Chubb, Fournette, AJ Dillon, Pollard. Wide receivers are Adams, Lockett, Ayuk. Okay, interesting. What pick am I? 6? Not bad. Interesting looking team. How many teams are in this league here, Derek? That's my question primarily. He said, I'm down to join. Where do I draft? I can go ahead and share the link again in the chat. Yeah, Derek, if you can, type in the chat and let me know how many teams are in this league. That'd kind of give me an idea as to what kind of a team we should be really looking at. Someone in the chat, Jose, said Cousins or Goff. I'd probably play Cousins this week. Zav Hayward said blockbuster trade. Jonathan Taylor, CeeDee Lamb, and ETN for Swift, Tay, and Akers, PPR. Swift, Tay, and Akers. Yeah, I mean, I guess that's not a bad haul for what you gave. Let's see here. Okay, how's the other draft going? This one just started. Awesome. I'll hop back into that. All right. Did Derek comment? He said 10 team in both. Okay, so let's see here. So Derek, in terms of your 10 team league, okay, so the first one, Derek Carr at quarterback isn't clean. I mean, it is going to suffice for now, but we'll see where it goes in the long run. Chubb, Fournette, AJ, I love your running backs. That's fine. We're good there. Adams, Lockett, MT, Ayuk is fine. I mean, listen, the biggest place you could theoretically improve is most likely solidifying a better wide receiver 2 or a quarterback to be at this point. It would be pretty expensive to upgrade at tight end, in my opinion. So I'm leaning towards trying to get another wide receiver 2, maybe trying to move Michael Thomas and one of these other options and get an upgrade there, or potentially even try to get a better quarterback. All right, speaking of quarterbacks, a lot of quarterbacks just went ahead of me. So I'm sitting here at the back end of the first thinking, man, I've got a lot of options here. I'm going to take Saquon first and foremost, and then I'll probably follow that up by taking Mark Andrews versus Buffalo or one of these options here. I really do like the idea of just taking a tight end because I can get other depth later. So let's do that. So I start off with a Saquon Mark Andrews kind of lead here. It's pretty good. The other league, by the way, the one that I just posted a link in the chat, I'll post it again. If you're interested, we need 2 more people to join. If you guys are interested, click on the link, sign up, use promo code Andrew, make a first-time deposit, join us. It's a $3 buy-in. Winner takes majority of the pot. So if you're interested, check that out. Thank you. I think second place also wins a prize, and then third place, zilch. Let's see here. Mike Koch says, am I almost on the clock? Almost. Okay. Mike Koch says, hey, bro, I'm hurt over your trade video. I just traded Bateman and Ayuk for Hilaire. Oh, no. Listen, yeah, that's, you got to be careful with that Clyde Edwards-Hilaire hype, man. It's tough. Let's just hope he plays well. I mean, listen, for your sake, maybe I'm hoping I'm wrong. I'm hoping I'm wrong. But yeah, it's tough. Chris M4 says, hey, Andrew, my team has the injury bug right now. 10 team. Am I on the clock almost? Almost. Okay. 10 teams, full PPR, 1 to 2. Okay, that's fine. What move should I make? This is my current roster. Okay, so you have Herbert, Swift, Christian McCaffrey, AJ Brown, Kirk, Keenan Allen, Dalton Schultz. Man, you are definitely injured. Okay, so Justin Herbert's going to be fine. Christian McCaffrey, hopefully healthy, but you need another running back on roster, considering your next best is Edmonds and Carter. I mean, I guess Edmonds scored tonight, but dude, it's still not enough touches to suffice. Am I almost on the clock? I am almost on the clock. Wide receivers, come on home. Michael Pittman Jr., please. As of right now, you're probably looking to try to get another running back piece here until we can see Swift return in like 3 weeks. At the earliest, most likely. So if you're able to potentially move. Okay, so let's go ahead. Let's take my Michael Pittman Jr. here. And then we look at quarterback. based on the available options, I'm not too excited about what the heck I'm seeing. So I could probably lean elsewhere. Jamal Williams looks like a pretty good option. That's probably where I'm going to go with. I'll take the upside there. Pretty good looking team so far for us here. Yeah, you probably, Chris, need to go after another running back. So what I'm potentially looking to move off your roster, if Schultz is active, I guess you could potentially move Everett, theoretically, so that you don't have too many charges on your team on top of it. Starting 3 chargers every week is pretty risky. So if you can move Everett now, maybe with an Ayuk, or, I mean, I guess you'd have to do something like that. Unless you're going to go ahead and trade like Christian Kirk with it, and try to go get another running back, that would be the only other play that I could potentially see you making that wouldn't hurt too much. Alrighty, where are we at here? Vic TX361, thank you very much, says, I'm 0-3 right now. I have Dak, I have Cousins, I have Henry, I have Jamal Williams, I have Christian McCaffrey, Damian Pierce, Brian Robinson, we have Lamb, Cooks, DJ Moore, Godwin, Gallup, Kittle, Schultz. Damn, you had a lot of injuries already. That's brutal. I need to upgrade at the wide receiver position and maybe quarterback. I think quarterback you'll be fine once Dak returns, so you can survive until then. As for your wide receiver position upgrade that you're requiring, yes, I honestly would look to potentially trade DJ Moore and Brandon Cooks and just try to go get anybody you possibly can that is an upgrade. Now, they could end up having bounce back weeks here, which always makes it a risky play. But at this point, I'm just hoping that Chris Godwin is available to play for you this week so you can have that wide receiver 2 kind of solidified, and then you can hit the market with Cooks and DJ Moore. At this point, you're probably in a position where you kind of have to keep these players and try to wait for big performances to then try to flip them and sell them high. Because if you try to sell DJ Moore and Brandon Cooks after their last 3 weeks of performances, especially in a PPR scoring format compared to other wide receivers, guys on the waivers were doing better than them. So it's going to be hard to sell them just based off of name value and not the production that they've put forth. So that's tough. Let's see here. Chief says full PPR. Jeff Wilson Jr. or Zay Jones or Kyle Pitts. If I'm playing one of those options, I'm playing Kyle Pitts this week against Cleveland. Thank you. Grady Hoffman says Hall, Cooks, Julio, Dobbs, or Schultz in the flex. If it's a full PPR, Grady, I'm playing Dobbs, and if it's a half, I'm playing Hall. Kareem sent a question just right now. Said, do I start DK or Pierce as one of my flex options? I'm probably leaning towards Damian Pierce there. Thank you. All right. Did the other draft fill? We need one more person to hop in there, and we're good to go. One more. So I'll go ahead and post that in the chat one more time. If anybody else wants to hop in there, I'm going to go ahead and finish off this draft here. We need to grab a quarterback and address that. At this moment, I'm probably leaning in the direction of taking Kyler here and just hoping for the best, considering I'm being gifted Kyler. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to play Kyler there, and then we're going to follow it up most likely because I have to with another wide receiver. Mike Williams, Gabe Davis, Deontay Johnson. Drake London is probably the guy I go with here. Tyler Lockett, Dubs. Yeah, we're going to go ahead and we're going to play Drake London there. All right. Pretty good draft here. I mean, listen, if this was my team on a Sunday, I'd be pretty happy about it. Obviously, this is a little too good considering this is only a 6-man, participating format. All right, looking at the chat here. What else do we have? Defensive rankings, Mohammed. We will talk about that Sunday morning to give you some more context. So yeah, we'll have that Sunday morning. Otherwise, you can check out the Patreon. We have all rankings up to date as of right now on the Patreon if you're interested. Jared said Patterson or Curtis Samuel PPR. Ooh, good question. I'm probably leaning in the direction of considering it's the Dallas Cowboys, I'm leaning in the direction of playing Curtis Samuel. Specifically because it's full PPR and Patterson doesn't really get much work in terms of the receiving game as of right now. Will Keenan Allen play? Probably not. I mean, the fact that he didn't participate today doesn't lend to him potentially playing this week. If not Deontay Johnson or Tyler Lockett, I play Deontay Johnson there. Thank you. Tannehill or Wentz in a 4-point per passing touchdown format, I would play Tannehill. What else do we have? Okay, so that draft is done. We're still looking for one more person here. If that doesn't end up happening, no problem. I'm just going to hop into another one of these drafts and just keep racking up teams. Hopefully I can win it all this weekend. Sutton or Olave, I'm playing Sutton. No problem, Jared. Should I change anything on my team, says Joseph. I'm 0-3. I have Hurts, I have Dalvin Cook, I have Mixon, I have Javonte Williams, I have A.J. Dillon, I have ETN, Hunt as my running backs. We have Pittman, CD. I mean, look, I'm looking at your team, and honestly, you have a good team. You've just gotten unlucky. Dalvin and Mixon did nothing for the first 3 weeks. I mean, obviously, Dalvin last week was good, but Mixon didn't do anything for the first 3 weeks. Javonte has been very wish-washy after week 1. AJ Dillon has been just nothing after week 1. Hunt hasn't been anything since week 1. Pittman hasn't been anything since week 1. CD is getting a little bit of a momentum shift here. Olave is perfectly fine. Everett can be fine, assuming that Keenan Allen is out. Everett would get more targets, so that helps. But as of right now, look like you have a good structure of a team. They just have to show up. Mixon, if he scores 3 touchdowns today, we have no complaints at all about him. But the fact that he only gets 15 when he should have 30, like it hurts. But I mean, I think as you're at a base core, you have a very strong team. You really do. In terms of improvements that you can make, I'm looking immediately at tight end. I'm thinking, how long is Everett going to last for me until he doesn't produce anymore? Maybe he's going to continue to be a part of that offense, but not a mainstay when Keenan Allen is garnering 10 targets per game. You know what I mean? So at this point, I'm thinking to myself, probably in a scenario where, let me see here. Yeah, probably in a scenario where you need to maybe move some of these. Let me think here. What do we have? We have Cooks. I mean, if I'm looking at your running back depth as itself, if I'm keeping everybody, maybe I move ETN, maybe I move Brandon Cooks, maybe I go get a better tight end. But at this point, you kind of want to keep the depth that you have, Joseph, to be honest. I'm not mad at this team. I actually think it's a good team. It's just unlucky. Mixon almost had 2. Yeah, I know. It's crazy, Sean. I swear he should have had 2 more touchdowns. It's really disappointing that he didn't get there. All right, who am I picking here? Let's just take Lamar Jackson. Let's hope he goes for 40 this week, huh? I don't even know what's happening on screen. Let's see here. James Robinson or Breece Hall? James Robinson or Breece Hall for Zeke? I think I'm keeping both those options. I don't want Zeke. If I was to trade one, it would probably be Hall, but you have to hope that Zeke falls into the end zone every week from here on out. Otherwise, it's rough. Okay, I need to do something real quick. Where the heck is this? Okay, here we go. I'm on the clock again. What do we have here? AJ Brown's available. Christian McCaffrey, Derrick Henry, Austin Eckler. I think I want to go with Eckler, but the tight end position's been picked clean. Devontae Adams, Pittman. Considering I started quarterback, I probably can wait on running back. Let's go ahead and take a wide receiver here. Specifically, let's go Devontae Adams and hope for that huge upside game here. Once again. Okay. Let's see here. Garrett Wilson or Drake London this week? Axel, I would play Drake London. Ark says you guys suck. Thank you, Ark. We appreciate the compliments. Thank you very much. Glad to get your support. Thumbs up. Let's see here. Should I trade for Pitts? I mean, yes, absolutely. If you could buy low on Pitts, you might as well do it now. Rather than in a couple weeks when he starts scoring those touchdowns. You know what I mean? Again, we have one more spot available in this other draft. For those of you interested via Underdog Fantasy, as soon as it fills up, we'll be good to go. There was a couple more donations sent in. Let me go ahead and see here. Waller for Pitts straight up. Waller for Pitts. Yeah, I'm okay with that. I'm fine with that. What do we have here? Okay, I'm almost on the clock in this league. What do we have? What are we doing here? Christian McCaffrey. I'm on Ross St. Brown. Most likely not going to play. I need a tight end for this week. So I'm probably looking Pitts here. At running back, there's still a lot of depth. We could probably wait on that. So let's take the Pitts play here and let's hope for the upside. The other league has started. Okay, we'll stream this one because it's probably better off than the other league that we were checking out. Did you miss my super chat? No, I haven't missed it. I just haven't gotten there yet. I'll do it right now. Here we go. So we did Grady's question. Okay, Kareem sent in a donation. Thank you very much, Kareem. I appreciate that. Should I start DK Metcalf or Pierce in the flex? I think we mentioned this before. I'm probably leaning towards Pierce. Joey, who was just mentioning in the chat. Joey, what's up? I hope you're doing well. I have the first pick, huh? How about that? That's beautiful. We love having the first pick here. Joey says, traded Michael Thomas and Curtis Samuel for T. Higgins. I have A.J. Brown and CeeDee Lamb. I mean, I'm not complaining. After what we saw tonight, after what we've seen all of this, last, 16 games, 12 of those games of 70-plus receiving yards, I got no complaints. Truly, I don't. I think that's a good move there. Carlos Sanchez says, will you trade Keenan Allen Mitchell for London and Hall. Okay, I'm on the clock here. Let me go ahead and make a draft pick here real quick. If I'm picking one of these potential players, I honestly, I would go, I mean, is it crazy to go Lamar first? I don't think it is. That's why I'm just going to take Lamar. I think he could probably go for another 40 points this week. I mean, the guy in the last couple of weeks has been nuclear. Keenan Allen and Mitchell for London and Hall. I'm trying to think who the heck is Mitchell besides Elijah Mitchell. And if that's the question, I'd rather have London and Hall rest of the season. That would be my suggestion there. Thank you very much, Carlos. Wentz or Wilson this week? I would go Wilson. Goff or Tannehill? I would go Goff. Assuming Amon-Ra St. Brown is healthy. Otherwise, we'd probably tilt towards Tannehill. Deontay Johnson or James Robinson PPR? Deontay Johnson is going to get you a guaranteed 16 points. 8 catches, 80 yards seems about right. If you think James Robinson can do that, then, all the power to you. I don't think he can. I'm thinking there's more of a chance or likelihood that we see, Deontay outscore him, to be honest, especially against the Philadelphia Eagles. All right, what are we doing in the chat here? Okay, Mark Andrews, Stephon Diggs, Christian McCaffrey, a couple good pieces taken there. How long have we been here for? I don't even know. We've been here for about an hour and 15. I want to thank you guys for joining us tonight. I know this is like a very impromptu live stream. I typically don't stream throughout the week, but I'm glad that you guys were able to make it out. Hopefully, I'm trying to answer all your questions I possibly can. I do appreciate you guys, supporting the channel, clicking the like button. I know there's about 300 of you in here. If we can get to 300 likes, 300 people in here, that'd be greatly appreciated. Certainly does help the algorithm, help the channel out, help me, continue to stream more by pushing the stream to more people on a weekly basis. So thank you. All right. There was a question by Victor in the chat. I said, what the heck happened? That's fine. We can auto draft that league, but I want to play this league. Okay. Victor had said, I have Hill and Waddle. I'm 0-3. Should I give up? No, why would you give up? It's a marathon, man. Hill played well. Waddle was injured. We knew that. We talked about it earlier this week, and he probably had Mike Hinton on him the entire game. So, and Tua went down. Imagine if Tua doesn't go down. Like, the amount of luck that goes into fantasy that is out of our control, depending on, things that are completely random, it's tough. And we just have to kind of roll with the punches. I wouldn't give up in any regard ever in fantasy. I'd rather completely rip apart my team and trade every piece away and get a new team back than give up. Thoughts on Waller rest of the season? He should be perfectly fine. He should have had a couple more touchdowns already this year. But the fact that he hasn't gotten those touchdowns is mainly due to the fact that, Derek Carr isn't the best quarterback. All right, so I need some running backs here. We're going to take Derrick Henry. We're going to hope for Omega upside later with some of these other pieces. We're going to take Michael Pittman here against Tennessee, though. Okay, there was a couple more donations sent in here. We saw Carlos, we did that one. Direct Fire Dave, thank you very much for the donation. Michael Thomas and Marquise Brown for Evans. Thoughts? No. I'd much rather have both those options because I think I can get more than just Evans in return. You should be able to, based on the fact that it's a PPR scoring format and the fact that Marquise Brown is coming off of a 28-point fantasy performance, you should be able to just trade it 1-for-1 and maybe get something, equal in return, if not better. But 2-for-1 in that regard, I'm not interested in that. Let's see here. So this draft completed, no problem. Devonta Smith or Cortland Sutton? I prefer Cortland Sutton this week, Abdullah. Thank you. Sam says, Dynasty, half PPR trade, Hunt and Metcalf for Akers and Treylon Burks. Oh, man. Listen, I don't play Dynasty like that. You might have to look elsewhere, Sam, to get a actual proper Dynasty. I play in one Dynasty league. Let's put this in perspective. I don't play in 10 Dynasty leagues. So in terms of value, if I'm looking towards the future and I'm looking at the players that we have there, I'm thinking, I'd probably rather just keep Metcalf. Because I know the Seahawks are going to get a better quarterback in the upcoming year. They probably were going to be one of the worst teams in the league. Probably get a pretty good quarterback here, and Metcalf will get back to being what he was in seasons past at a pretty regular rate. Alex Ruiz sent in a donation. Thank you, Alex. I appreciate that. He says, I'm 0-3 in a 12-team league in a half PPR scoring format. I have Goff on the IR. I have Dak on the IR. I have Goff at my quarterback. We have Justin Jefferson. We have Higgins. We have Mixon. We have Fournette. We have Knox. We have Waddle. My bench is Sutton, Jacobs, Brown, Metcalf. Oh, sorry, not Metcalf. Michael Thomas, Pierce. Anything I should do, I would 1000% look to upgrade tight end. Knox should no longer be on this team. Knox should be on your bench or on another person's team. So if I'm you, I'm looking to potentially go and find someone who is in need of a wide receiver. Maybe give them Michael Thomas. Need of a running back. Maybe give them Pierce or Jacobs and try to get back top 5 tight end talent. I'm looking for Waller. I'm looking for Kittle. I'm looking for Pitts. It's going to be impossible to get Kelsey or Andrews back in return. So I'm looking for those 3 other options that you could potentially bring back onto your team to make that starting roster that much more powerful, because truth be told, a lot of these other RB options or the wide receiver options aren't going to play on your team based on how much depth you have, even in the fact that it's a 12-team league. I like what is this? Rico says, I like Njoku. Seems like he's the second receiver there. As of last week, yes, he's the second receiver there. As of going forward, I don't know if that's going to sustain, though. That's my only concern. We're going to go with Khalil Herbert here, hoping for the Omega upside game. And then I need a tight end, most likely. Yes, I do need a tight end. So we're going to take the Kyle Pitts play here, and we're just going to hope for the best. What else? Should I give up on Terry McLaurin? Why would you give up on him? He had a pretty good week last week. He's actually had pretty good games this season. I wouldn't give up on him. Why would you? I mean, again, you got to remember, they're throwing the ball 40 times a game in Washington. That's recipe for success in my eyes. Kyle Freeman says Freiermuth or Conklin at tight end. I played Freiermuth this week. Thank you. Anthony says Curtis Samuel, Keenan Allen, Chris Olave, Damian Pierce, pick 3. Anthony, I'm going to go ahead and answer your question relatively easily. It is going to be Curtis Samuel, Chris Olave, Damian Pierce, because most likely Keenan Allen doesn't play this week. Breece Hall or Locke rest of season. I'm assuming you meant like Tyler Lockett. I'd rather have Breece Hall rest season. Again, I can find guys like Greg Dortch and Zay Jones on my waivers, right? Those guys are always going to be there all season long. There are going to be players at the wide receiver position that can have value any given week based on just the fact that they're in that offense, right? So I'd much rather have a running back, because the running back position in terms of getting value off of waivers is very non-existent unless an injury is to take place and people don't already have handcuffs on roster. So yeah, I'm okay with that swap, getting Breece Hall there for Lockett. Hunt, Ramondre Stevenson, or Dobbs at the flex this week. I probably go Dobbs if it's a full PPR there, Joe. Higbee or Schultz? I'd probably go Higbee there, Jared. Someone in my league dropped Schultz. Should I pick him up? Joseph, it depends who you have at tight end. It depends if you have a roster spot available on your bench for them. If you do, and you can very easily pick them up and play, then yeah, well, I mean, why not? I think Schultz, the PCL injury is very concerning. It's the same kind of injury that Zeke had last year. A lot of slowing down there, but 2 different positions, 2 different, bodies of work. A lot of, wear and tear on Zeke in comparison to Dalton Schultz. But as of right now, yeah, pick him up. I got offered Devontae Adams for James Robinson. If you're playing in a full PPR, Juan, I would definitely say, yeah, let's take that. Neiman says DK or Garrett Wilson. I'm probably leaning towards DK this week. I just kind of want to wait and see what the heck Zach Wilson does in that regard. Considering the Texans matchup is easy, is an easy win for Pierce and Herbert for the Bears. Considering Texans matchup, easy win for Pierce and Herbert for Bears. Yeah. Sounds right to me. I mean, I don't even know what the heck you said, but yeah, sounds right to me. Let's go Amari Cooper here. Let's hope for another win. Alrighty. By the way, last week, I think this was last week, right? Was this last week? Oh no, this is the other day. Last week was this one, right? So last week we did a couple of these drafts together. And I ended up winning the first one, getting 3rd place in the other. This one mainly because I had Lamar Jackson, Derrick Henry, Stephon. This was the team last week during Saturday where I was like, bro, how did you guys let me get this team? And obviously it did what it did. Nonetheless, all right, we're going to go ahead and move back to our regular live stream sector real quick. Boom, we're right here. And then we'll close that. Thank you guys for those of you who participated via Underdog Fantasy. Again, if you guys want to continue to play fantasy football the Underdog way, you can go ahead and find the link down in the description of the video. Click on the link, join. You can play with me in future weeks. On Saturday, we'll be doing a couple more of those drafts. Of course, the pick'em slips can be put together. I was talking about that earlier on today's episode. Tomorrow, we'll also talk about some pick'ems for this weekend. A couple things you want to key in on. We'll probably be here for the next 10 to 15 minutes, and then we're going to pack it up. because I got to go and prepare stats, graphics, all of that kind of stuff for tomorrow's video. Again, I'm a one-man team trying to do the very best I can in order to kind of keep up with you guys. It's tough to try to balance all that kind of stuff every single day. So I do appreciate you guys coming out today, viewing, donating, clicking the like button. If we can get 15 more likes, get that number to 200, that'd be greatly appreciated for today's stream. A couple more donations were sent in. Compton Ace says 14 team league. I mean, listen, that's in itself already playing in a 14 team league. I mean, that's grown men stuff right there. Compton says 14 team half PPR. I have Josh Allen, Josh Allen, JT Swift. Okay, I don't know how you have that, but okay. Deontay, Juju, Hunt, Dobbs. Bench is Sky Moore, Rashad White, Alexander Madison, Darrell Henderson, Naeem Hines, Isaiah Pacheco. Okay, now it begins to look like a 14-team league real quick. Any thoughts? To be honest, it looks like a 14-team league now. Any thoughts on the matter? I mean, purely the fact that you have Dobbs and he panned out is going to save your season if he ends up being the next big thing, which I'm hoping he is. Outside of that, I mean, unless you're looking to try to, dude, I guess technically, if you're like, man, I got to win right now, otherwise we're in trouble, you could technically take Swift and try to trade him just off of the idea of like, hey, let me trade Swift. Let me go get another running back that is just as good. Let me go get Henry or something like that. And let me just try to survive for the next couple weeks. You can do that. And maybe somebody would oblige. But as of right now, you got a pretty good looking team for a 14-teamer. Anthony says, thanks, Andrew. Higbee or Njoku? I have Higbee higher currently in my rankings. Njoku had a lot of targets. But again, typically the Cleveland Browns over the last 2 years have always targeted their tight ends when they've played against Pittsburgh because they know that those Pittsburgh linebackers aren't great at covering, across the middle. Chris sending a donation said, thoughts on Mac Hollins and Devonta Smith? Devonta Smith, as of right now, I mean, it's hard to 100% say that this is going to be the case going forward, but instead of it being Batman and Robin for that offense, it's Batman and Batman, right? We have A.J. Brown and we have Devonta Smith both producing at pretty high levels. So we're hoping that those numbers are going to stay relatively consistent in the idea that if A.J. Brown's pulling a lot of attraction one way, the running game is pulling a lot of respect from, linebackers, trying to fill these gaps and biting in on play action. Devonta Smith should be able to run around freely and make a lot of plays. As for Mac Hollins, again, he's played, 87% of the offensive snaps in 3 consecutive weeks. He's been on the field a lot. He has seen himself a fair share of targets, a lot more this last week that led to a lot of success, but I don't know how consistent that is going to be as an option, considering you still have to feed Darren Waller, Devontae Adams, Josh Jacobs, and Hunter Renfrow comes back. You still got to get him targets. So sure, Mac Hollins could be an option, but in a deeper league, that would be probably the way I would go. I'm not looking to probably play him in a 12-teamer. Graham says, I've been trying for so long to get my question answered. Graham, type it and I'll answer it. I mean, I apologize that I wasn't able to get to it earlier, but again, there's a lot of you and one of me, and this chat just keeps going. Cooper says Jonathan Taylor for Saquon and Olave. Yeah, I'm okay with that. Take Saquon and Olave. That's fine by me. I traded James Conner for Breece Hall. Bad trade? I would say potentially yes. I guess time will tell, but for right now, I would say yes. If Breece Hall becomes a monster, then you got no problem. But if James Conner is anything remotely close to what he was last season, upcoming, we could be in trouble with that trade. Would you trade Aaron Jones for Debo? Probably not, no. Okay, let's see here. Where's Graham? Graham, I asked the damn question. Where you at, my man? Graham, there you go. Pick 2, Miles Sanders, Jeff Wilson Jr., Rashad Penny. I have no Swift this week. Okay, that is unfortunate, but if I'm picking 2 of these potential options, it's Jeff Wilson Jr. against the Rams, and we're playing Rashad Penny against the Detroit Lions. Miles Sanders is a good running back, but when they get down to the goal line, it is Jalen Hurts' world. And outside of that, this has been a relatively pass-heavy offense. They're going to play against Jacksonville. Jacksonville's been really good in terms of stopping opposing running backs. I'm probably leaning in the other directions. We'll go Jeff Wilson and Penny there this week, Graham. Thank you. Bateman, Dobbs, Gallup. I'm playing Dobbs there. Recapped. Trade away Christian McCaffrey and Hawkinson for Javonte Williams and Kelsey. My goodness. I don't know what the rest of your team looks like, but I'm beginning to think that I don't mind this trade. It may be risky, but I don't mind it. Kyle Freeman sent in a donation. Thank you, Kyle. Let's see here. 1 and 2 half PPR. Okay, these are what we have. Okay, so we have Stafford, we have Adams, we have Waddle, we have Deontay, we have Hollywood, we have Harris and Connor as our running backs. That is unfortunate. Okay, but we can maybe survive here. My bench is Conklin, Curtis Samuel. Okay. Any changes to win the league? Yeah, you need to get a better running back than Harris. Harris is sustainable. He's going to put up 10 points per week in a half PPR scoring format. We know that, but we want something better than that. So if you're able to move maybe Curtis Samuel, maybe move Conklin off that decent week if someone needs a tight end, even move Hollywood to go get a better running back, I would try to do it. As to who, go give me Eckler, man. If you can go out and you can go get Eckler and that guy's panicking, maybe he wants a running back in return. That makes it a little bit harder in this regard. Maybe you can give him Jeff Wilson Jr. and I don't know. At this point, like that's what I'm looking at. I want to go get Eckler. I want to go get these top tier backs because I know they're going to have bounce back seasons or bounce back weeks here. Buck Nasty, where are you at here, my guy? You said start Patterson or Garrett Wilson. Brandon Cooks in the flex. If I'm picking one, it's Patterson. Full PPR. Been with you forever, and we've gotten close. Second place last year, lost by 2 points. That is unfortunate, Bug Eye. Hopefully we can close it out and win a chip this year. Let's see here. Johnny 5659. Andrew full PPR 10 team. Just traded Javonte Williams and Jeff Wilson Jr. for DeAndre Swift. Thoughts? Do you have Jamal Williams? If you don't, I hope you can survive the next couple weeks and try to win as much as you possibly can, because eventually once DeAndre Swift comes back and he's healthy, you'll be fine. But you just got to get to that point where he's returned. Cooks or Samuel? I'm playing Samuel this week. Clayton Poirier says, had Trey and now Tua. Pick up Lawrence, Wentz, or Mariota. Pick up Lawrence. Clayton, sorry about that. That is unfortunate. Maybe you're a bad luck charm. How about you just never mind. Never mind. I was gonna say something, but that's just in bad faith. That's just not good. Never mind. Jamal Williams or Cook? I'd play Jamal Williams this week. Trade for Debo. Who should I give up? Keenan Allen, Waller, London, Garrett Wilson, Juju. I mean, if you're giving up a piece for Debo Samuel, it's going to be tough to. You can't give away Christian McCaffrey or Barkley. You just can't. If they'll take a Garrett Wilson and a Juju, then sure. But if they're not going to do that, I mean, I guess you can 1v1 for Keenan Allen, but I don't think they'll take that. I mean, based on the fact that you play in a 14-team league, you're already pretty thin on depth. So it's going to be harder to take a top-tier player without giving a top-tier player. And your top-tier wide receivers aren't good enough outside of London to go for Debo. And at this point, I like London enough to where I'm like, maybe I just want to ride him out. Let's see what we can kind of get out of him rest of the season. Njoku or Goddard? Play Goddard this week. What happened to Tua? Oh, no, we're not talking about it. You know, prayers up to Tua. Hope he's doing well. You know, that's all I can say. Let's hope he's healthy. Let's hope that, you know, there's nothing that's going to, you know, be a factor in the future. Hopefully, you know, we can get a full recovery from that. If you haven't seen it, I'm sure it's on the internet somewhere. Would you trade Michael Thomas and Antonio Gibson for Aaron Jones? Yes. Especially considering it's 8-team league. I'm sure you have a lot of depth at wide receiver and running back, but yeah, Aaron Jones, I'll take him rest of the season. Let's see here. Caspo says, hey, Andrew, I'm in a half PPR, and this is the trade. Would you trade away Javonte Williams and A.J. Brown and Irv Smith for Saquon, Godwin, and Hawkinson? Saquon, Godwin, Hawkinson for Yes, I would do that. I'm fine with that. Bug-Eye Buck Nasty says, pick one Patterson, Cooks, Garrett Wilson, full PPR. If it's a full PPR scoring format, it's probably Garrett Wilson, and then it's Patterson. That's the only differential. Been watching for 3 years. Thank you very much, Richard. I appreciate that. That's a very long time. So you've been around here for a while. You've been through it all. You've seen all the different iterations of Andrew. I'm curious, who the heck has been in here since the beginning? Like, how many of you guys have been watching since Andrew with a busted camera inside of his bedroom, not in, you know, the full light camera action area with the green screen? Who's been here since year one? That's what I'm curious about. But hey, listen, 3 years is long enough. I appreciate you hearing me for that long and supporting the channel. Thank you. Which top wide receivers are realistic targets to go after? Realistically, I would say Mike Evans is the most realistic one. If you can go get Mike Evans, go get him. Obviously, when I say go after Justin Jefferson, it's relatively unrealistic because you have to give up a relatively bigger name for it. But even in that regard, I'm still okay with that. Are Lawrence and Njoku good starters for a 10-team league? I mean, I guess time will tell. As of late, they've been good. But in terms of sustainability in tougher matchups, it's going to be tough. Been here since 2020. Been here since 2020. Everybody, a lot of 2020. 4 years, huh, Luke? How about that, huh? Ayuk, ETN, or Akers? This week, I'd probably say Akers. That's probably where I feel most comfortable with. Started here since 2019. Yeah, look, there we go. How long have I been doing this? 2022, 2021, 2020, 2019. Well, I think I started 2018. Yeah, started late 2018. So if there's any, I mean, 2019 is pretty long hazard. My goodness. I've been watching since then. Yeah, Gerardo, how about that? Let's go, my man. Derek Just says, would you trade Michael Thomas and Fournette for Eckler and Deontay Johnson? Yes, I would. Where does T. Higgins rank in rest of season rankings? 8 through 10? Yeah, he's a top 10 wide receiver for sure. I would probably say he's creeping closer to 8 than he is 10. Trade London and Curtis for Fournette and Chris Olave? Yes, I would take Chris Olave and Fournette rest season. A couple more questions here. Let's see here. Compton A says, I had the 1.01. I took JT, then I took Josh Allen, follow-up, then I took Jay Williams. At the 2/3, shopped and got, wow, you got Swift off that. That's crazy. I mean, hey, listen, you're an absolute deal maker, so congrats. You got a good-looking team. You just got to find something to replace, Swift for the next couple weeks, until at least week 6, until he's back. 18 league, Aaron Jones and Terry McLaurin for Dalvin Cook. Which side wins? If it's a non-PPR league, quite honestly, I'm thinking Dalvin side wins that. Mainly because, like, if you're playing in an 8-team league, is McLaurin even starting for you? Honestly, is he even starting? If he's not, then I'd just rather have Dalvin over Aaron Jones rest of season. McLaurin or Gabe Davis rest of season. I think I'm still on the page of rolling with Gabe Davis rest of season, even though McLaurin has looked really good with the utilization that we've seen with Carson Wentz. If Gabe Davis is fully healthy, I trust him more within that offense. Which quarterback should I trade for? Buy low, Kyler, or sell out for Lamar? I think you're probably better off just buying low for Kyler. Lamar's had back-to-back 40-point weeks. I think selling out for him would be pretty tough to do. You'd have to give up a lot. And if you don't think you're giving up a lot for him, then yes, you go for him. But I think Kyler's most likely the guy that you can kind of sneakily steal. I have Fournette, Cook, Kamara, and Jay Williams. I'm starting 3 out of the 4. Who do I sit? If I'm sitting 1, I'm probably sitting Cook this week, and I'm playing Fournette, Kamara, and Williams. Again, don't forget, guys, on Saturday, I'm going to be live streaming here on the channel. So if you'd like to join me, then we will have, the ability to answer some questions there as well. Sunday morning, like we do every Sunday, except for week 2, because that was an absolute complete disaster of a technical issue via YouTube. But typically every Sunday morning, I am here on the channel with updated rankings on screen, answering questions. So if you're interested, you can hop on by then and get your questions answered. We will have updated rankings on screen, half PPR, and hopefully answering questions that will help you get ready. Kick off with Kirchhoff. That's what it's called. Sunday morning, 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Hope to see you there. Thank you. We got to 200 likes, guys. Thank you very much. I appreciate you guys helping us get there. That's greatly appreciated. We're about to close out today's stream. Just trying to answer a couple more questions before we're off and away. Clayton Poirier says, if Schultz is healthy, Schultz or Higbee, I'm playing Higbee still. Even if he's healthy, I want to wait and see what the heck I'm getting out of it. You know what I mean? Have been here since day one. Jason, I can check that though, right? I can check that. I don't want to put you on the spot. We're not going to reveal it unless it's good news, but we can check that theoretically here on the channel. If you've commented on this channel at any time in the comment section, I can date back the first time you ever commented. And I'm scrolling down and you literally have been here since day one. No joke. Commented on my, wow, dude, you've been here since literally year 1. Jason, round of applause. I mean, that's, you're literally a day one. Like that is crazy. That is crazy. I thought about putting you on the spot. It wasn't a matter of putting you on the spot. It's a matter of giving you the right recognition that you deserve for being here. I appreciate that. Let's see here. So if anybody else wants me to check their logs, I can go check your logs in our channel. And if you've ever said anything bad, you'll get the ban hammer. But if you think you've been here for a very long time and you've commented on a video from a long time ago, Hey, we can check that. We can assure that. And you know what? We may have to start doing giveaways for people who have been here for that long. I think that's something I'm going to look into in the next couple of weeks. Try to start doing giveaways for people who have been here since, the beginning, supporting the channel for that long. Appreciate that. Trade Pitts for Ertz and Olave. I think I'd rather just keep the Pitts player right now. Pierce, Bateman, Terry McLaurin in my flex, half PPR. If I'm playing one of these options, I'm probably playing Pierce in a half PPR. And then Carr, Wilson, T-Law, I'm probably playing Carr. Start Olave over Keenan Allen, most likely this week, yeah. Do I sell Christian Kirk high or keep him right now? Honestly, as much as everything in my body tells me to sell him, my heart is telling me to keep him. I'm seeing him play. I'm seeing him get a lot of utilization. And man, it's like, yo, this guy it looks like the real deal in this offense. How long have I been here? Let's see here. All right, let's check logs. Here we go. All right, here we go. Let's check logs. All righty. So, you haven't been here that long. You've only recently commented. Okay, so let's see here. Mario says he's been here since 7K. I mean, that's a pretty long time, Mario. Let's see here. Okay. Mario's been here for a while. That I can confirm. Based on the videos you've commented, yes, you've been here for a while, my man. Thank you. Appreciate it. What else we have here? Metcalf, Jeff Wilson, Damian Pierce. Need two. I'm going to play Metcalf and I'm going to play Damian Pierce there. Chubb, Russell Wilson, Winston, McLaurin for Fields, Hurts, Zeke, and Kirk. Chubb, Russell Wilson, Winston, McLaurin, Fields, Hurts, Zeke, and Kirk. I'd rather have the Chubb side of this deal, Jacob. Last question. Do you like Laviska Shenault? Honestly, no. He had a big touchdown play. If that touchdown's not there, he's like Robbie Anderson. He's just not utilized much because, quite frankly, Baker Mayfield's not good enough to sustain 3 receiving options, much less 1. He literally can't even pass the ball to Christian McCaffrey or DJ Moore. I can't expect him to utilize, anybody else, specifically Laviska Shenault going forward. My first comment was today. I just recently got serious about fantasy. Hey, welcome. Glad you're here. Hopefully we can help you out. Hopefully we can help you win a championship this season. Gary K says stash Wan'Dale Robinson or Christian Watson. I'm honestly of the opinion that Wan'Dale Robinson may be the stash that we want to look for there. I like Christian Watson, but I don't know if Christian Watson is going to get more looks than Lazard and or Dobbs right now. So I'm looking towards the idea of Wan'Dale Robinson. Kadarius Toney, he's probably not going to get much looks. He's already still injured, dealing with that injury bug. He's kind of dealt with that the first 2 years of his career. Sterling Shepard just went down with a season-ending ACL. I'm thinking Wan'Dale Robinson's probably the guy there going forward. Let's see here. Do you would you trade Kamara and Pittman for Chubb and DJ? No, I'd probably keep these two. I don't really care about DJ Moore right now. Murray and Robinson for Hurts and Bateman. Yeah, give me Hurts. Give me Jalen Hurts. Horror movie. Yeah. Jason, where did you go? Did you turn off the stream and then come back? Did you mute me? Literally, I went back to your logs. You've literally been here since the first time you commented was the first year I had ever posted videos, week 7. Okay, that's when you commented. You've been here since for a while. Maul says casually almost at 70K subscribers. I wouldn't say this is casually. I wouldn't say this is casually in any capacity. The 70K is, dude, if we can get to 70K, that'd be fantastic, guys. Be a friend, tell a friend. Thank you. Philippos, what's up, man? Let me know. Achber John, let me hear it. What do we have here? Would you trade Michael Thomas for Godwin and Gabe Davis? Yes, I would. Should I trade Hollywood Brown and Khalil Herbert for Mike Evans and Elliott? Yes. Because think about it. Khalil Herbert will disappear when Montgomery comes back. You'll have Elliott for the rest of the season. And then Hollywood is going to kind of get diminished once D-Hop comes back. And Mike Evans only gets better as the season progresses. Trade Sanders or Gibson for Hall? Yes, either. Doesn't matter. I'm perfectly fine selling on both of them. If I had to sell one specifically, it'd probably be Gibson because it's probably easier to sell him based on his production thus far. Garrett Wilson or Bateman rest of season? Garrett Wilson. What else we have here? Ron Burgundy. Hey, how about that name? I'm on Raw for AJ Brown. Yes, give me AJ Brown. Where did Mr. Philippos go? Trading McLaurin and Bateman for Adams too much? No. If you can trade Terry McLaurin and Rashad Bateman and you can get Devontae Adams back, it is absolutely worth it. 150%, not even close, no hesitation. Lock that sucker in and honestly start popping some bottles, my man. Should I trade Hollywood and Khalil Herbert? Okay, so we did that. We're good to go. Jeff Wilson, Dalvin Cook, Madison, and Pierce need to. Robert, I'm thinking it's probably Dalvin Cook and it's probably Pierce. Again, we'll know by Saturday what the status of Cook is, but based on what we saw in terms of his practice report, he's playing this week. So I want to play him. All right, guys, we've been here for about almost a 2-hour block here. I gotta have to wrap this up. We're gonna answer a couple more questions and we're gonna be on our way. I do appreciate you coming out here. When was my first comment, says Luke? All right, Luke, let's put you to the test, my man. All right, Luke, when was your first comment, huh? Let's see what we got here. Luke, Luke's been here for a while, man. Luke has been here since week 7 of 2019. That was your first comment. Week 7, 2019. It was a wide receiver video, week 7, Cooper Kupp on the thumbnail. How about that, huh? What a year, what a year. Am I losing this trade if I trade J-Rob for Kamara? I don't believe so. You can see it as a potential loss because of what J-Rob has done, but we're not taking into account what Kamara is capable rest of the season. That's what I'm looking forward to. I don't want to play with, what people have done for me now. I want to, think about what they're going to do for me in the future. Mariota or Zach Wilson? Mariota this week. You're the GOAT. Thank you, Quan. I appreciate that. Jeff Wilson or Penny this week? I'd rather play Penny against the Detroit Lions. Wasting the man's time, Luke? Nah, he's not wasting my time. No, listen, dude, this is fun. I appreciate you guys supporting the channel for as long as you have. Jacob says, Fantasy Pros projects me not to make the playoffs. Well, look, here's the thing. Projections are cool, but projections aren't actual reality, right? So whatever projections you have doesn't mean they're going to produce. Like, let's say, for example, okay? Today, I was projected to get 14 points out of Jalen Waddle. Jalen Waddle got me 5.9 points, okay? Projections are cool, but they're not the end-all, be-all. So don't worry about where you're projected to end. Just take it one step at a time, 1 week at a time, one waiver period at a time. Try to improve your team as much as you possibly can. Make the right decisions, make the safe plays, sometimes make some risky plays in order to kind of take a step forward. And, it's a marathon. We'll get there. Would you trade Miles Sanders and Brandon Cooks for Debo in London? What? Yes, absolutely. Jay Rost, 100%. Sanders and Brandon Cooks for Debo in London? Without a doubt in my mind, I would 100% say yes to that trade. Man, can somebody invite me to their leagues, guys? I mean, I already play in enough leagues, but let me get in some of these leagues, man. I mean, what are these trades, guys? Come on, let me get some of these trades. Like the leagues I play in, okay? For example, the leagues I play in, because I'm playing in leagues that people know what I want to do every single week, considering I have a waiver wire episode every week, no one trades with me. The team that I draft on day one is the team I probably end up with besides waiver wire pickups. No one will trade with me because if Andrew comes knocking saying, yo, let me get Elijah Moore, let me get Amon-Ra St. Brown before they break out, it doesn't matter. If Andrew's interested, we got to hold him because Andrew can't have these players. Oh, okay, cool, guys. Thanks. I appreciate it. Enough with me ranting. Let me answer some more questions. Will Elijah Moore blow up? He was the favorite target of Zach Wilson prior to, Elijah Moore leaving last season with his injury. So maybe. Keenan, okay, again, a lot of the questions that I'm seeing here, Elijah Moore, Dobbs, Zay Jones, Bateman, we're playing Elijah Moore and Dobbs this week, but a lot of the questions we're seeing can very easily be answered on Sunday morning, guys. Hopefully we'll see you there. I'm going to go ahead and answer a couple more questions here, and then we're off. Mariota or Wilson, we did that. We answered Mariota there. Rare quarterback question, Stafford or Goff. I believe Sunday morning we'll answer that for you. We got to wait because, again, Amon-Ra St. Brown may not play. That will be the biggest determining factor. How does it feel that your fantasy gift is also your fantasy curse? I mean, listen, dude, it is what it is. I don't think I have a fantasy gift. Purely, I just work hard at it and put in a lot of hours, watch a lot of film, break down a bunch of stuff, right? So I think it's a matter of effort rather than anything else, right? And then obviously there's luck involved, right? I mean, let's not kid ourselves. There's a lot of luck involved in fantasy. So that, you know, amalgamation and combination of all those variables kind of combined, you know, I appreciate that. But yes, if I was to never win another league again, I'd be perfectly fine with it, because as long as I have this channel and I'm able to speak my truth and, you know, talk about fantasy every single day, listen, that makes me happy. Brandon Cooks or Najee Harris in the flex? I'm playing Najee Harris. Comeback player of the year says, please, what does it say? Please do mine, LOL. Have you been here for a while? Let's see here, Mr. Comeback player of the year, huh? A couple more questions were sent in. I think Gunmai sent in a question. Gunmai, what are you doing, my man? Thank you very much for the donation. It says, hey, Andrew, in a 10-team full PPR league, is trading away Mike Williams and Fournette for Devontae Adams a good trade? Should I ask for Devontae Adams and London? If you can ask for Devontae Adams in London, I'll take it. Again, but that purely depends on the fact that you don't need a running back. Because if you're trading away Fournette, you're establishing you don't need a running back. Comeback player of the year, I don't think that you've ever commented in my channel. I don't even know if that's what you're referring to, my man. Maybe you were just saying, oh, no question? Okay, never mind. You have won my last 2 matchups. Thank you. Listen, as long as I can help you guys win championships, those feel like championships that I've won as well, okay? By proxy, I have helped you win. Therefore, I feel like I've won. You feel me? Pittman or Aaron Jones? If I'm talking about this week and this week alone, Giancarlo, I want to play Pittman. If we're talking about the rest of the season, who I'm rather have on my team, I'd rather have Aaron Jones. Let's see here. A couple more questions were sent in. We're going to close out today's stream after these last couple ones. Daniel Seal says, week 1, after games were over, I traded Adams and James Robinson for JJ. Do you think I will win or lose this season? I had good running back depth. Listen, I want to say that Justin Jefferson should very easily still finish as a top 3 wide receiver by the end of the year. I can very easily stand here and say that. Is it going to happen? Time will tell. But I am of the opinion that that is going to be something that we should personally expect to see. Blake S says, drop Sky Moore. Absolutely. Cut him. Get rid of him. Done. Trade Chubb and away for Hall and Swift. Considering the current injury that surrounds Swift, unless you have Jamal Williams, I'm not interested. I'd rather just keep Chubb. Amon-Ra St. Brown or Mike Evans rest of season. I'm probably leaning towards I don't know what this injury looks like. If he ends up playing this week, I'm not too worried about it. But otherwise, I'm probably saying Evans, because I know there's a consistency of play. Evans last 2 seasons, minimum 109 targets, minimum 70 receptions, minimum 1,000 receiving yard, minimum 13 receiving touchdowns. I'm expecting those numbers this year. Okay. I think I've answered a lot of these questions. So Mariota, yes, over Wilson, we're good to go. Okay, guys. I want to thank you guys for joining us today. I'm going to go ahead and close that off. We're good to go. Saturday, we'll be live streaming. Tomorrow, we'll talk about must starts. Last week's must starts got me back on track. We were 4 out of 5. We talked about Pierce, Carr, Dobbs, Olave, and Ingram. Ingram was the only one that didn't produce. Tomorrow, we'll have some more conversations regarding some must start players for week 4. Saturday, we'll have live stream. Sunday, we'll have a live stream. Saturday live streams are 1 p.m. to 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time here on the channel. Sunday morning live streams are 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Thank you guys for joining us. Hopefully, we will be able to do more of these streams more often as we progress throughout the season. I appreciate you guys joining me today. And be sure to check out Underdog Fantasy. Again, if you guys are trying to play more fantasy football and support the channel, the best way to do so, besides clicking the like button, besides sharing, besides your viewership every single day, it's signing up via Underdog, doing yourself a favor, playing more fantasy football, using that promo code. If you make a first-time deposit while using the code, you'll be giving a first-time deposit match up to $100. So if you're interested, check that out. How about your QB list? Again, typically, what I'm probably looking to do is every Thursday, instead of talking about quarterbacks and tight ends as a video, we're most likely going to pivot and just do different topics. So strength of schedule, stuff like that will probably be next week. So I think next Thursday we'll have rest of season strength of schedule along with some rest of season rankings on Thursday. So That's the kind of stuff that I'm looking for Thursdays, because again, like tonight's game, no one should have been starting Hurst or Gesicki. They weren't good enough prospects based on their, overall production of play and opportunity over the last couple weeks to deserve a start in our leagues, right? If you played Hurst, congratulations. But in terms of the quarterback position, we knew that we were going to play Burrow and we were going to play Tua. Unfortunately, one of those did not go the way that we expected. So I thought this Thursday night matchup doesn't really give us much of a look. Why tell people to start these players on Thursday when I can just wait till Sunday morning, because the rankings are going to be on screen anyway. Anyway, thank you guys. I appreciate you guys supporting the channel. And until next time, I'll see you guys. Let's play the music and let's close it out today. Thanks, guys. See you later. Peace.